I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax.
Probably more infamous. I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuznetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanshu.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh, my God, you're such a good...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem. You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
Real talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Rita Park. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk with the Director of the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. Be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. And we're brought to you every week by Dollhouse Radio under Morel, B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on blogtalkradio.com. Not really lately. Just used to saying it. YouTube.com, Twitter via Periscope, and of course, Facebook, the social network. All right, this will be our last show of the year 2020. Today is the 28th. Today is the 28th, Monday night, 28th of the year 2020, the wretched year of 2020. And definitely want to, I think a lot of people are looking forward to getting out of 2020. Getting into, moving forward into the next year. A lot of people, don't want to remember this year. They want to put it behind us for a lot of reasons. And yeah, so give me a second here. This is Ralph. Okay, my bad. Yeah, and a lot of people want to put it behind us, and I can't blame them. Can't blame them. What else? So this year was just for every industry due to unfortunate events with the pandemic, the global pandemic, COVID-19. It affected every industry very heavily, and one in particular, the movie industry. The movie industry was, just like most industries, were highly affected by this global pandemic in a very, very negative way. As we know, we were not getting any, no movies were really coming out. The whole slate of movies that were supposed to come out did not come out because of this whole pandemic thing. And it's tragic situation. I mean, now granted, that's me talking as a movie film lover. Does it, of course, there was so much more tragic things that happened this year, but this is a film show, so we're not going to talk too much about that. We've heard enough of that for the year, and you can turn on any local television or news network or go to any website and read about the devastation that COVID-19 has caused through this year. Over 300,000 people have passed from it, and millions of people have been infected and affected by it. So it's really, no secret, nothing to, talk about that people don't know. So that's what I mean by we won't be dwelling on it. What else do we got here? So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a little bit of a wrap up, if you can, with the films. We're going to talk about film and television from this year that was particularly stuck out, and then you had some TV. I do want to say that TV kind of really stepped up and held it down when the film, all of the film stuff was just really not, they weren't able to come out. So what we lacked in film, we got back with TV, So I think that alone, man, I think, I got to give TV credit, because scripted television really came back this year and came back very, very tough, very, strong. So I was happy about that. Before we get, fully started, not bringing the Jedi Council, I do want to say, from the people over here at Real Talk, and as a big, big hip hop fan, 2020 continues to rear its ugly head, and we lost another. I don't want to say another, but yeah, another pioneer of hip hop, Mr. John Ecstasy Fletcher of the group Houdini, the legendary Houdini. So he passed, and wasn't COVID-19 related, to my knowledge. He passed, and only 56 years old, man. These brothers are dropping at very young ages. I'm only 11 years away from that. So that age, so that's pretty young. That's not a lot. That's not old at all. And I I don't know. We just got to try to do better. Everybody try to do better. I'm not going to get on my soapbox. I'm not going to get on the pulpit, but I'm just saying we all got to try to do better with taking care of ourselves, taking care of our bodies. I'm the one that's talking, right? But, I've been doing a lot of, changes, life changes. You know what I'm saying? I'm about almost 40 pounds down, and I'm still continuing to go. Not that that's the end all be all, but it is definitely a big part of it, and I'm trying to handle that. Life changes got to happen, man, so we can stay around. Why do you think the old heads lived so long? They were eating better. They were taking care of themselves better. They weren't subjected to a lot of garbage that we're subjected to right now. So I'm just saying that, like I said, I'm not going to be on the soapbox, but rest in peace to Ecstasy, man. He was, let me tell you, and I do want to, that I'm going to bring up my segue when I bring on my counsel, because I saw something today that I felt it aggravated me. It aggravated me pretty much, but it's more related to that whole situation. So we'll get back to that. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to jump right into it. I was going to do the box office numbers, because they do have a few films that have been out in the movies. We may still do that, the box office numbers. Let me just bring that in there. It's funny, when Box Office Mojo ain't even saved in my thing anymore. It's hilarious because it's like I haven't been there in so long. But last weekend, for December 25th through 27th, of course, Wonder Woman 1984 did $16.7 million. Of course, it led the box office. It was probably one of the best domestic openings this year because of, COVID. News of the World came in at second at $2.3 million. The Croods, A New Age, $1.7 million. I want to see that. That looks kind of funny. Monster Hunter, $1.1 million, and Promising Young Woman made $719,000. So like I said, man, it is really, these are some weird numbers to be running down, but you know what? They're there, so I'm gonna run them down. Shout out to everybody in the chat room that's always holding it down. Of course, Jimmy Ace in the building. Can't wait till you get your show going. I believe he's going to be bringing the bench warmers to IE Network. I can't wait. I mean, I don't know if he's going to do a new show, but I like the bench warmers. Yeah, bring that show over. That is his sports talk show. It's, he's been doing it for a while. Jimmy Ace is well trained. He trained at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Which is one of the, that's one of the better schools out there, as far as the name goes and stuff. So can't wait to have him on board with the IE Network, and I'll probably join him on some of the shows. We can talk, so I can get frustrated and talk about my Vikings. Oh my gosh, should I call them the Vikings or the Vikings? I don't know. They're terrible. Jeez. They officially eliminated this today. I mean, this week. So that's it for them. But I'm in a good mood. We won't talk about that. Anyhow, Jimmy Ace, thank you, sir, for joining us. Shout out to everyone in the chat room that holds it down as usual. All the heavy hitters comes through. Yeah, man. Thanks again for joining us here at Real Talk. And I'm the director, and I brought my Jedi Council. And here they go. If you don't believe me, I don't know why you wouldn't believe me, but here they are. Ralph, building.
What's going on, everybody?
Kev is snoozing on somebody again. I don't know. Maybe my monologue was too long. Wow. Hey, Jay, how you building? Yo, Jay, man, I'm gonna have to get somebody. Jay, I know Jay, you're very knowledgeable on movies. You've been, you right my age, and because we're gonna get a guest judge next week, or maybe a couple of guest judges next week. Next week we face off in a versus years. This is gonna be the movie years. So, for instance, each one of us will choose a year that we feel was the best year in movies, and we're going to pick a certain amount of movies, probably 10 or whatever a piece, to represent that year, and we will then face off in a versus. But because obviously it's us three, there's no one to judge it. So we're going to try to get a guest judge on for next week's show to come on and tell us who he or she thinks. We may have a guest judge panel. That might be cool. Maybe I'll reach out to Gina Lou. Maybe get a female perspective. You know what I mean? And have a couple of judges on, and we get this popping. Hey, all right, yeah, I got my year set up. I got my
year too.
I got my year set. I even got a backup year, but we're gonna have to get our years thrown out there so we can just get it popping, man. I can't wait for that. So that's gonna be dope. Yeah, man. What I wanted to say on the segue, and I'm not gonna waste too much time on this, but I just wanted to say, like I said, shout out and rest in peace to Ecstasy. John Ecstasy Fletcher from the legendary Houdini rap group, hip hop group Houdini. I saw something that came across my timeline that really disturbed me, honestly. It talks about Ecstasy's family launches a GoFundMe to cover the rapper's funeral expenses. So immediately, me being I'm not just a fan of hip hop, man. I am a student of hip hop. Okay. It's something that it's a culture that I lived for so many years of my life growing up, writing rhymes, b-boying, making beats. I didn't DJ, but so my first instinct, honestly, is to be like, what the hell is going on? Why would this man's family have to put a GoFundMe to pay for his funeral expenses? And the reason why I say why is because hip hop should not let that happen. In my opinion, hip hop should not let that happen. And when I say hip hop, I mean all of these so-called hip hop moguls.
It's not just the moguls. I'm just saying all of hip hop.
All of hip hop. No, I'm just saying. I'm naming them. I'm going down the list. So these so-called hip hop moguls, the ones that be posing with flashy and posing all together like black excellence, and all this other stuff. Yeah, okay, you got your champagne and this. I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying the point is this should not happen. This is for any pioneer of hip hop. I mean, I'm just gonna say, unfortunately, I gotta call the cats out. You know what I'm saying? Let's take Nas, for instance. Nas, in the last few years, has really boosted up that status as far as money goes. He did investments and, into technology and stuff like that. Plus, his hip hop stuff, right? Nas has two really big hits that he's had that was centered around Houdini songs. If I Ruled the World, which because the song, not the hook. The hook came from Curtis Blow, but the beat, right? And then One Love. One Love is another song that he did, which, yes, he used it in a different context, but the basis of it, which probably means he got the idea from at least for the hook, from the song One Love from Houdini. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one thing. Jermaine Dupri. He was the last record label to sign Houdini. Okay? So Houdini was signed to So Def when they released whenever their last record was, which was somewhere in the early 2000s. Right? That was the last official record that they did and released or whatever. So now you have him. Then you got all of the other labels that they was on, Columbia and this, that. I'm like, look, there's no way that this man's family should have to do a GoFundMe to cover his funeral expenses. And I didn't even name the moguls, the Diddy's of the world, the Jays of the world, these other cats that all said it moguls. It's like, yo, man. I mean, honestly, like Kev said, it's all the hip hop. I mean, everybody could throw in a rack. You know what I'm saying? You get a few cats, throw in a couple racks a piece. This is the same stuff, the same bands as they call it, the young dudes call it, the same bands that you be throwing at the club, at the strip club, throwing at strippers. You could be like, yo, hold this down. You know what I'm saying? I sure hope it's not too late. I sure hope someone answers the call. I sure hope someone looks at what I looked at and feel the way that I felt. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, I'm going to donate, I'm going to find the GoFundMe and donate to it because it's like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. It's bad enough, unfortunately, that they have to do that. But that's neither here nor there. They have to do it for whatever reason. They got to do it. But in my opinion, that should never, ever, ever had to happen to any of these pioneers, any of them.
Well, first of all, I mean, the family's going to put up a GoFundMe if the guy didn't have insurance, whatever the case may be. But above all of that, if no one's in contact with the family, nobody's going to know that unless the family makes that.
People in contact with them. He was still very active in the hip hop world. You know what I mean? It's not like he disappeared and went into exile or something.
No.
He was very active.
That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's the family, letting people know, like, reaching out to people in the industry to let somebody know. If nobody knows, nobody can't do anything if nobody knows.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have an exact answer for that, but if I was to speculate, I'm sure that they've let people know because a GoFundMe. Think about it in this day and age, for them to do a GoFundMe in this day and age. I mean, it's a great time to do it because that's what everybody does. But my point is, he's a pioneer rapper, right? So who are you reaching out to really to get this? It's just going to be friends and family. So he had a lot of his friends were still people that's in the industry. So, the point is, one would, and like I said, it's just my speculation. One would speculate that if they had to turn to a GoFundMe, that they have mentioned it to other people. Maybe that, maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to say that they reached out to somebody and asked. I don't know. But, a GoFundMe is like, in my opinion, a last resort. It's like, yo, we have no choice. Let's do this GoFundMe. Because now you asking anybody and everybody for money as opposed to going to whatever. So, it's like I said, it's not like was so like distant from the craft or distant from the culture. So cats knew, all the cats that went and dropped, I was seeing all of the cats that went and dropped condolences on his pages, on his Facebook page and on his, are you seeing cats that was, that's still out there in the industry. So that's what I'm saying. And like I said, that's just me. Maybe, not everybody feels the way it is. Yeah, I know it's pandemic. And I heard, I hear, people are heartless these days. I made that comment on something and people were trying to tear my head off. Oh, you ain't got no, there's a pandemic. Man, anybody gonna be just giving money, paying for people. I was like, bro. Like,
what's actually funny about this in like a tragic sense. I have a friend of mine named Richard. He's been, him and some of his friends. They've been doing a documentary about this place in New York City called The Rooftop. Like this world famous place, and
that was back in the day.
Yeah, they're doing this documentary about it. Like just like a little month ago, he sat down. He didn't talk to them himself because he's working the cameras and the video and picture. But they sat down with Houdini, So it's not like Houdini as the group, not just the three individuals, the group itself, have not disappeared. They are around.
Yeah, they are.
And hell, even if you got $100 from everybody, all the hip hop heads that were in the Funky Beat music video, I'm saying $100.
Yeah.
You know, that's a start. That would help. And let's be real, Houdini is not one of these one-hit wonder groups. They've been around for a minute. Like you said, Nas has used their music. Their music was in a major motion picture. That I can't think of the sequel. Oh, the Jewel in the Nile. They used a priest come out at night.
Yeah.
You know, $100. I mean, even now Disney, what you can't throw him $100 for using the music in your movie. You know, I mean, and it's just a sad thing when it comes to the hip hop culture, which is different than pop music or country music or whatever, is that no one really sits there and looks at the history. Like God forbid tomorrow, if Bruce Springsteen passed away, and Bruce
for whatever
Springsteen,
reason didn't have the money.
For whatever, and Patti Smith went out there and said, "We're going to do a GoFundMe." You would have Elton John, Billy Joel, and saying that how do we let this happen?
Yeah, and they would have jumped right on it. I'm gonna say this, and like I said, I'm coming from a dude, and we all are dudes like that. Coming from a dude that was here before hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that's how much I love and lived hip hop culture, because I know what it is. I know what it's like to not have hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Before we even have rap music. That's what I'm
right. So my thing is this: hip hop, unfortunately, is the. I'm just gonna say it. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just gonna say it. Hip hop, it has the most unfaithful fans on any
say it again.
Genre.
Say it again. Say it again.
Hip hop genre has the most unfaithful and unloyal fans in any other musical genre. Period.
Yeah.
Hip hop has been like that, unfortunately, for a while, and it's even more so like that now. And they're the only genre that when that person gets to that they root for the underdog. Then when the underdog becomes the top dog, they start throwing stones at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, why you crossing over? Why you going pop? Ain't nobody in this business to be broke.
Why you selling out?
People in this business, and I mean, it's to be honest, it's just like even today, even with especially with this generation, I hate to say it, you know, I mean, it's like, yo, everybody was, you know, when Nicki Minaj came out, everybody was on Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj rose to the top, and then now it's time to get rid of Nicki Minaj. Let's replace her with Cardi B. Cardi B comes out, rises to the top. Now it's time to get rid of Cardi B. Let's replace her with Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I'm saying? I got my own like, now they're going after Megan Thee Stallion. This is what happens. Everyone has their moment. They get to the top, and now everybody all of a sudden hates them. So, I mean, you don't see that in any other genre. You don't see that in rock. Yo, Bon Jovi can put on a concert right now and sell out a stadium. A stadium.
How many people over the last 30 years have been going after Madonna? And realistically speaking, how many have even come close to her? Maybe, and all the women, I'm going to sit there and say, and we're just going to keep it white women. Maybe 5 have come somewhere close to her. That's really about it. Really.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I mean, you know, but that's what I'm saying. But my point is this: any other genres. Let's take country. You know, any country. If you take a country artist that's been around forever, Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton can sell out shows. Dolly Parton, she's been around.
Garth Brooks can still.
Garth Brooks will still sell out venues. But Houdini, Rakim, all these other people that were pioneers and kings of this craft won't sell out venues, and I mean big venues. I'm talking about not just stadiums. It don't even have to be as far as a stadium, but arenas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and you know what the sad thing is? I'm gonna tell you this. I was just having this discussion literally last week. I am, and I miss this place, pandemic or not, is BB King's. BB King's was always having an old school act up in there. Always.
Yeah.
And
That's
the truth of the matter is, the old school acts. When if you went to an old school show and they wouldn't just have like one act, they have like 5, 6, 10 acts. I mean, they give you a show.
Yeah.
It was always packed, overpacked. I can't sit there and say no, I am not buying a ticket to go see Lil Wayne. I am not buying a ticket to see Young Yachty or Young Ratchet or young
somebody.
Young whatever. Whatever.
They got a BB King's here in Orlando at Disney Springs, which used to be called Downtown Disney. There's a BB King's there. I think it's a BB King. No, it's House of Blues. That's what it is. It's House of Blues. They bring a lot of that particular House of Blues brings a lot of old school acts there too.
And people will go. People will go see them.
BB King's in Manhattan had to close because the rents was just way too high on 42nd Street. So they had to close.
Yeah, no, I mean I get it, but my point is, I mean there was another, speaking of 42nd Street, there was another spot that was my favorite spot because they bought all. It was actually owned by Malik Yoba. It was called the Soul Cafe. That was also on 42nd Street. It was over by the Port Authority, right?
Years ago.
Yeah, that was years ago. I'm just saying it was a great venue to go there. It had good food and live music, and it was what was so cool about that is because the live band there, they were all people, you know, like cats from the Roots was there. They were all dudes that do gigs. Which they were going out with superstars, you know, Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z. They was going out with all of the cats back then that were like mega stars at the time, Mariah Carey. And when they not touring with these people, they're playing at the Soul Cafe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like what's Ashford and Simpson's joint up there on the 60s. That spot, they would go there. Certainly SOBs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's the sad testament too, is that all these old school cats that we love, like not for nothing, I was in a record store the other day getting some UCs, and I ran across this disc. It was the best edition of Tommy Boy Records, like Volume 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where the hell is Stetsasonic at? I ain't heard that from cats from years. Where'd they go? You know,
Tommy Boy.
That is the only reason why I got that disc, because one of the tracks on it was Stetsasonics talking all that jazz. And I haven't heard from those cats in years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. So unfortunately, hip hop is the genre that has the least amount of loyal fans, and people get mad all they want. I know people get mad at me when I say that, but it's the truth. The truth is the truth is the truth. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to say rest in peace to Ecstasy again. But, you know, I'm just hoping, you know, hip hop, you know, if they don't, you know, I'm going to donate to the GoFundMe. I didn't know him personally, but, you know, these cats represent a certain point in my life. You know what I'm saying? In my childhood, in my upbringing, in my life. So just for that memory is worth me donating something to the GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying? But I should hope that these cats, anybody from hip hop, saw this and decided to step up and be like, yo, nah, we can't let you go out like that. Yo, boom. Or even if you want to just use the GoFundMe to donate the money, it doesn't matter. If you want to do it anonymously, which most of them won't, somebody's going to get the pub behind it too. They want to get that publicity. But if you just want to be, you know, only one who I actually see doing that is like Jay-Z, because Jay-Z actually doesn't donate for publicity. Like he never really publicizes the donations. Yeah, he just does it. I mean, he's the one that said this was in that show that song, Nickels and Dimes. The greatest, he said, the purest form of giving is anonymous to anonymous. That's the purest form of giving. You know what I'm saying? And that is the true. That's some true words right there. The purest form of giving is anonymous to anonymous. You know what I'm saying? So I could see him doing it, and somebody eventually will find out, but I don't see him like stepping up, saying like, I'm gonna do this. If he's gonna do it, he'll just do it. You know what I'm saying? So let's just hope that happens.
And also, I do want to note that also behind the scenes, there are a lot of people in hip hop right about now, and over the last couple of years that been because Rick Ross has been a big proponent of it, and there have been many others, Jay included, that have been the very thing that we're talking about, ruin.
Yeah.
And all because nobody helped them out. Nobody has showed them what to do with their money, blah blah blah, whatever. But there are people in hip hop like right now, like that was I think some of it was a part of that project with the new hip hop museum that they're opening up in the Bronx. I think part of that whole initiative is also to start like a I don't know if it's like a union or whatever you want to call it, where they want to start something like that for pioneers to where they can have something to lean on. It's because it's necessary. It's really necessary. I mean, hell, if the average Joe is out here with no life insurance because of health reasons or whatever the case may be, there are people I know right now that because of kidney failure and other shit they're dealing with, they can't get life insurance.
Yeah, I know that. You have pre-existing conditions. Life insurance costs an arm and a leg if you can even get it at all. A lot of times they may just straight reject you if they don't, or even if you don't have pre-existing. If you're at a certain age,
they don't even want to insure you.
They may not reject you, but they're going to charge you.
They won't even talk to you.
Yeah, and
especially
it's like
that's why so many people go for.
Don't even get me on that whole insurance thing because although I have life insurance, but that shit is kind of whack because you do like some people don't even realize the certain types of life insurance that you take, whether it's term or whole life or whatever.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Like you probably can't you ain't getting a whole life term.
Nope.
You ain't getting a whole life insurance policy, but you can get some term insurance.
You get term, and the only thing with term is if you live
or
through
burial
that
insurance.
Right. If you live through that term, you lose your money.
Yeah.
You just paid all that money for nothing. So it's like, okay, you took out a whatever, 100,000, 200,000, whatever insurance policy, but the term is, 30 years.
And if you
took it when you 20, that means once you get 50, you're done. You know what I'm saying? So you got to die before you're 50. In order for that to benefit your family,
they need to have they need to have classes on this stuff to teach people. Like
they really do.
Like even with your whole life, even if you have a whole life, you start out a whole life policy. I mean, my parents taught me about this stuff when we were younger. Like
it's something that people need to teach. And I'm glad you mentioned that your parents taught you that because honestly, and this is obviously no knock on nobody's parents, including my own, because my parents didn't teach me about it. Parents, you really should teach your children about this because this is how people understand. This is how you able to set your family up. You know what I'm saying? If you do it at an early age, you can actually set
you build equity into that. You can send your kids to college off of some of that. You
can build equity on it, and not only that. More importantly, when you do pass away, your children or whoever your loved ones are can be set. Yeah. Because I've seen people do it from young ages and they got, they sitting on $1 million policy and stuff like that. And cats is literally getting $500,000, higher and higher. It's like, yo, you can actually set the rest, your next generation up and for, set them up. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and not only set them up to where when they do get the money, they know how to be financially responsible. Not like
Yeah. Not just
there are
give them a
people.
bunch of money and let them run wild with it. You set it up where it's reasonable, or you have an executor. That's another thing people don't understand. You should
Mhm.
appoint. You should have a will. That's number one. No, the people they just because you get a insurance policy, don't mean you should still have a will,
A
because you
will
got
and an
you got
estate
you
set
got
up.
millionaire celebrities that allegedly died without wills. Which some of that I don't believe, but allegedly they die without wills, and then it's all turmoil. Then you have to appoint executors of your estate, not just one, two. Appoint backups, because you don't know who's going to live, who's going to die, who's going to not
Yeah,
want to do it. So you have to appoint backups. When I did my
yeah.
will, I got 4 different people. I got an executor and I got 4 backups. So one person might decide they don't want to do it. They don't want that heavy task. Somebody, unfortunately, God forbid, may pass away before me. You know what I'm saying? So I got people lined up. I went and spoke to each and every one of them, and I let them know what I'm doing with them. And I'm also, which of course I don't have to, because they're all people that are close to me, but I'm leaving money for them just for taking on the task of doing it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? These are the things you're supposed to do to set things up, because no one likes to talk about death. But let's be honest.
The only constant in life.
The only thing in life that is promised to you is death.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tomorrow's promised.
No, it
Tomorrow's
is
not
actually
promised.
yeah. Tomorrow actually yes it
Because
is. Tomorrow is promised.
if you die
Tomorrow is
today, there is no tomorrow for you.
actually, you're right. Tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable, but that doesn't mean it's inevitable for you. It's
Yes, it
inevitable
is.
for
Yeah,
period.
no,
But it doesn't
listen,
mean it's
you're
inevitable
still
for you.
tomorrow is here. Your body, your physically, you are still here. You may not be breathing, but you're still here. So tomorrow is still your tomorrow. And
That's a very,
unfortunately,
very technical
if your
way of
family,
looking at
if your
it.
family, well, it's not just a technical. Well, I was getting to a point with it as well. That tomorrow includes your family. You live on in your family. So guess what? If you're not making sure that things are taken care of when you go, your family is left with that burden. They're
Well, I
left with
mean, that's
that
the thing. Yeah,
financial burden.
you don't want that. You don't want. Yeah, there's definitely tomorrow's inevitable. I agree with that. And yes, you don't want to leave your family stuck with a
Well,
burden.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I say
Whatever. You don't
you still go on because your lineage is still going on,
want.
and it has to be. Things have to be taken care of. When
Yeah.
you're not here to
You
take
just
care
want
of them,
people to be swing. And the worst thing, trust me, because I mean, the worst thing that could happen is it's already hard enough to grieve and have to do business, because let's be honest, this is a business. The undertaking business, it's a
of
racket.
death.
It's a racket, but it's a business. You know what I'm saying? And to do that type of business and be grieving at the same time is not easy. I mean, we're not going to stay on this. I just want to give an educational moment to people, and something that we don't want to be all morbid and have people. Oh my God! You see, I see the numbers going up and
Bring
down.
the show down.
People coming up in the room, going down, going out. They're like, oh, we don't want to hear about this. But it is what it is. Anyhow, moving on. The next thing I wanted to jump to, Warner Brothers, who's been in the news a lot lately. Warner Brothers just acquired a new series called Black. It's a comic series. And the comic series is, the premise of it is, what if only black people had superpowers? That's the premise of this comic book series. They just these I see a picture of these two dudes, and they are I guess they're the creators. Let's see. Creators, Kwanzaa. I can't pronounce his last name. They got all these. He's got a last name. I ain't gonna try to pronounce it because I can't. And Tim Smith III. They came up with the concept more than a decade ago, gaining visibility after a Kickstarter campaign raised over 90 grand. So they did a Kickstarter campaign raised over $90,000, and they there you have it. They have now been acquired. The rights have been acquired by Warner Brothers to take this series and make something of it. Here's just do a quick.
Warner Brothers is going to make European American people really mad.
Yeah, they're about to make a lot of European American people mad. Here is there's the two dudes right there.
Wow.
That was them at I assume at a comic convention. There's their step of repeats right there, and there you go. Their comics are based in a world like the trailer guy, in a world where black people only have superpowers. So that's where their thing takes place, and that's gonna be interesting.
Killing everybody. I'm killing everybody. Anybody that said they look at me wrong. What? What?
So you are definitely going to be a supervillain in this black superhero world.
Just start calling me Vader now. That's really it. For real.
Yeah. But so that's cool. Shout out to them. Good luck. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, now with the Warner Brothers has options now because of AT&T. They have options. So they
and I want to kind of add to that a little bit too, is because we kind of touched on this a little bit a couple of weeks ago, not the comic book side of it, but the acquiring of stuff. And it was mentioned, because I mentioned it during one of our conversations. Here comes T-Mobile now with T-Mobile Vision. So now that whole thing we were talking about with MGM, that's a very strong possibility of another character that can step up to pick up.
Yeah, I can see that, because they got T-Mobile. I know about that. I've been getting, because I have T-Mobile, and I've always they're always trying to do. First of all, they're always partnering with movie. They're always partnering with movie theaters.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? Mostly Adam, I think that was called Adam or whatever.
Adam movie events. Yeah. The Adam is pretty dope. Those things are pretty dope. ATOM.
They always partnered with a movie theater and was giving away tickets. We had T-Mobile Tuesday. We always got free stuff, to get the app, and they sending you free tickets to movies. So anyway, I could see that. That's very, very. We talked about the MGM selling their catalog. I could see a mobile company, and it's really the only one that's really really going against AT&T is T-Mobile, because remember they merged with Sprint. You know what I'm saying? They acquired I think Metro. They acquired that too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like they're going up. So really there's only three now. There's AT&T, there's T-Mobile, and there's Verizon. That's it. Those are the three real communication carriers. You know what I'm saying?
Cellular communication carrier.
Yes, cellular.
Except the small ones don't count.
Right. I mean, but a lot of them get absorbed by them anyway. Because I think what was that other one called? There's another
Cricket Wireless.
Yeah, that was absorbed by one of them too. I don't know if it was AT&T or whatever who does it, or
absorbed.
Got absorbed. They absorbed them. T-Mobile definitely took over Metro, and Boost Mobile also, because Boost Mobile was an extension of Sprint. So that went along with, that's all under T-Mobile now. So, in my opinion, they're the ones that came out on top, because they, Sprint pretty much dissolved their name into just T-Mobile.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I've seen all these Sprint stores are becoming T-Mobile stores now. So, that's pretty much that. That's a very good point, Kev, that you brought up. We'll see how that works out. Also, since we're talking about black stuff, black cartoons or whatever you want to call it. So, Soul was out this weekend, and a lot of people really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good, not just good, but I have another annoying article that I came across that I wanted to share.
It's not really annoying.
To me, it's annoying.
No, it's not, because this is something that's been going on for it's something that's been going on for years, and a lot of people have been complaining about it for years. And it's factual. That's factual.
It's not really, but it is.
It's factual.
Not to me, but so
it's factual because they don't do it. They don't do it with other. They don't do it with characters of European American, European American characters get played out throughout the whole show. They don't do it with. It's only characters of color that they take and turn them into other stuff for 90% of the movie, and then turn them back into the human being that they are.
Okay, it's still annoying to me. So representation without transformation. Can Hollywood stop changing cartoon characters of color? So they went, Andrew Tejada did this article, well-written article. I will give him that. Like I said, yeah, he's got some, some facts in there based on these movies and stuff. But my point is this, pipe down, in my opinion. Like, come on, man. I watched Soul just the other day, and I mean, okay, he was in the form of the soul. Okay. The little soul character still looked like the character that he was. It just looked like the soul version of him or whatever. And yes, whatever. People complain about whatever they talk. I never was interested in watching that film with the birds or whatever. That was that the one that Will Smith was in, Spies in Disguise? I never had interest in that anyway. I never watched it. Princess and the Frog, I've seen that years ago. Like I said, you can always find facts and things to complain about.
No, but it's not a complaint, though.
It is a complaint.
It's not a complaint. It's factual.
It doesn't matter if it's factual. He's still complaining about it.
Yeah, but because it's a point that because it's a point that needs to be made.
It's not a point that needs to be made. So make it yourself then. And then my thing is this: make it your goddamn self.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. If people, well, the ones that they do, but see, that's the point. The cartoons that they do, the cartoons that people do make themselves. Nobody wants to pick up. Nobody wants to show that representation. As a matter of fact, the one cartoon, even in the age that we're in right now, that one cartoon that was made about the African warriors, Hollywood told these people that's not realistic.
Mm-hmm. I understand that, Kev. All of that stuff. All I'm saying is this: thank God for them. We are living in an age right now that you can put your stuff out. Because the one thing I will say about this generation, the generations that we have now, they are more acceptable to other things. They don't follow the status quo of it has to be a Hollywood movie or it has to be a Hollywood made movie. The new generation, including the last generation of like millennials and stuff like that, if you're marketing to them, they are more acceptable for new things. Now, it's just that Hollywood still don't want to try new things. That's just their problem. That's why we as independent filmmakers and film lovers need to just continue, support the independents, the ones that are telling the stories, and Hollywood will have no choice but to conform to it. Because right now, Hollywood is especially right now, Hollywood's crippled right now. But the people who are making films right now are independents. Mm-hmm. They're the ones making films right now. Hollywood's not making films right now. You know what I'm saying? So here's where I say we because I'm part of the independent filmmaking community. This is where we have to strike. And streaming services are everywhere. They're not at their peak yet. They're just really getting started, and it's getting higher and higher and higher. and the opportunities are opening up. Now is the time for independents to tell their stories, whether you Black, Asian, any other sort of minority, if you want to call it. I know you hate that word, Kev. Whatever you want to call it. Boom. Here's your chance. But stop trying to get into Hollywood. Screw Hollywood, man. Stop trying to get into Hollywood. Make your stuff, because these platforms are outside of Hollywood right now. Hollywood's trying to invade. I ain't gonna say infiltrate. They're trying to invade these platforms now.
I'm on it now.
And if we don't act, we'll let them invade our platforms, these platforms, and then it's going to be tougher to get onto them. But there's so many, which is a perfect segue to what I wanted to bring up. There's so many streaming services right now, that are out there doing their thing. I wanted to bring up some numbers. Let me see if I can find it, the graphic that I'm looking for. I have some numbers here that streaming services. So I wanted to say, streaming services, which streaming service today would say won 2020? They all won, in my opinion. But anyway, here's just a quick graphic that I'm just gonna pop up, which we all know, the streaming services that's out there. Here this is just a handful of them. This ain't even all of them. You know what I mean? So, Showtime is not a streaming service, but you got, they're all apps. There's a streaming service. This one is one, right? The CBS one.
Yeah, CBS is CBS is Showtime is streaming. Showtime is streaming now because they provide their app also as a streaming service. So you don't have to necessarily. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to have cable in order to look at it.
Okay, so if you don't have to have cable to look at it, then you're good. You got Peacock, of course, the big dogs, Netflix, Prime Video. You got Disney Plus, of course, Apple TV, Hulu. So you got all these different ones, and that's not even including Tubi.
HBO Max.
HBO Max is right there. Tubi is not on here. That's not cool. There's the YouTube one. They got theirs. Even Facebook has their own thing. They got the Facebook Watch. Tubi, Pluto TV, Crackle. There's so many of them. But the point is, just to wrap up my point about that is, I'm not saying don't complain because it's not true. What I'm saying is, do it yourself. Meaning, just do it then. Or the ones that have already done it, stop. And then remember, there's a streaming service called Quelly TV that is dedicated to Black creators and content. And she is a woman who owns it, and they're on the rise right now as far as in the streaming service.
A lot of people take their content there.
Yeah, take it there, man. Take it there. You know what I mean? Take it there. So that's what
the whole point of what Homeboy was trying to say, and this has been said before even Soul came out. Soul is just another example of it. But the whole point of what he was saying is, if you're going to do representation, it's not about do it yourself and none of that. The whole point is, if you're going to represent something, represent it in total. Don't half-ass it. Don't make it into this, into this quasi thing to where it's just like, oh yeah, it's a Black person, but guess what? This is what it is. If you're going to represent, people need to see total full representation, not just this, just this half.
But that, and I get it, Kev. But the cold hard truth is, we're not going to see that because they're not. There's no.
But see,
Black people
you're
are
right.
behind these films. They're not behind them.
But that's the whole point. The only way you get to see change is if somebody's saying something, and that's the whole point of the article. It's something has to be said. Yes, we can go to and people are going to other outlets.
I think it's beyond something has to be said. Something has to be done.
but
Stop
no, but people are.
saying,
But see, that's
start
the thing.
doing.
You could walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. People are saying and they're doing at the same time. We have Quelly. We have a lot of content coming out on Netflix. A lot of people are taking their content to Netflix and getting the Netflix deals. That's why you see more. And Netflix is waking up to the fact of diversity and knowing that okay, we need to show more content across the board from everybody.
Well,
This is
there's a lot of them that are going that route. I mean, we talked about that on one of our previous shows. Whatever you want to call it, some look at it as white guilt, some look at it as whatever, waking up, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of moves being made behind the scenes. If you just stay on LinkedIn, you see a lot of people, a lot of announcements being made of Black people moving into powerful position, more better power positions in these companies, Black people moving into the academy and stuff like that. So, that part of it is happening. And, I guess I'm just like, yo, man, I'm on some new stuff, man. I'm done with Hollywood, trying to please Hollywood, you know what I mean? Because the audiences that watch films now don't necessarily have to have it delivered to them via Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? Because of the streaming services help change that. They help even the playing field. So it's just like, and like I said, I give credit to the brother. It was a very well written article. And like I said, maybe it annoyed me for different reasons. It didn't annoy me because what they were saying wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm just tired of this. Why do we always got? It's like trying to get into that country club that won't let you in. You know what I'm saying? And you
but
yo,
again,
I got the right clubs.
the article wasn't. But again, the
the right
article.
clubs. I got the right shoes. I got the right.
Yeah, but again, that's not what the article was saying. See, that's misleading because that's not what the article was asking.
That's not. I know that's not what the article is, and it's not misleading. I'm telling you how I feel about all of this. To me, complaining.
But it's not complaining when it's addressing the issue. It's open. The only way you can get there's two ways you can get somebody to change or to start to realize that something needs to be changed. You can either passively aggressively keep mentioning it, or you can just get in their face and be like, "Look, I'm tired of you stepping on my feet. If you step on my feet again, I'll punch you in your mouth."
Right. Or
you
could just do it.
but again, but see, this is talking about a different thing. Like I said, it's talking about representation. It's not saying that we don't go other places to show our content or to have our content shown. What the article is addressing is if you're going to represent correctly. It's just like how we talk about these writers, how we're all sick of these writers that keep trying to write Black or keep trying to write ethnically or across the board. And it's just not with Black people. It's with Asians and particularly with Indians and stuff like that. They make these assumptions of what they think is going on in the household, and a lot of things are the same as what go on in other households because we're all human, but it's the way that these things go about. And if you're going to represent something, start taking, even if you're not going to have people on your writing team, do your damn homework, do your research. You know what I'm saying? Understand the audience that you're trying to represent something to. This is why, like with Black Panther, why they did what they did. Ryan Coogler was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this? Okay, this is how we gonna do it." Mm-hmm. Now they may have said, "Yeah, we need to sprinkle a little bit of salt in there, so we gonna put Agent What's His Face in there, and we're gonna have Claw in there," which is fine because Claw is a part of that universe anyway. So it don't.
He's part of the universe. Yeah. He was introduced in previous films.
So
that's fine. They did a good job with that. But like I said, I don't know. I just, I've heard this story before. It's not like he's the first person to write about this. And like I said, he did a good job, but he's not the first person to write about it, and he's not the first person to talk about it. He's not the first person.
No, he's not. I clearly said that. Yeah, he's not. But until it changes, again, It's not
It
about.
may never
It's
change.
not. It's
May
not.
never change
Right. It's
unless
not
we
going to.
change it. Unless
Right.
we
Right.
change.
Exactly. And the way you make change is the way you start making people accountable and known.
Now, I think the way you make change is to go ahead
It,
and do it. Look at, I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guys, the brothers that I just talked about. You know, now those dudes
You
did
like
their
I said,
own
you can
thing,
still do it. You can still
right?
do it. You can still walk and chew bubble up at the same time.
No,
If you're doing it, if you're doing it,
here's
this
how they
my the
did it
point
though,
is, the point is, yes, they're doing it here. They're doing it at Quelly. They're doing it at Netflix. They're doing it all over the place. They're even doing it at Disney. They're doing it a lot at Disney. Especially on the Marvel front and on the Star Wars front. They're doing it a lot with representation. But the point is, the reason why they're doing more is because people won't stay silent. So when you have instances like this, like they're doing it on live action, but it's not happening in cartoons. So the only thing that's the only thing you're doing is you're acknowledging the fact that, look, again, this is not to say you can do it all you want to, but if somebody over here, if company B over here decides, well, yeah, we're gonna make a black movie and we're gonna do it like this, and they do it wrong, what are people gonna do? People are gonna say something like, look, what are you doing? And that's
did
all
you enjoy?
that's all the
Did
articles.
you like so?
Yeah, I like that.
I liked it as well. Me personally, I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with the way they told the story. And
Even the guy in the article said he didn't. And even the guy in the article said that it wasn't that he didn't like the film. He loved the movie. He thought the movie was great. But he's just saying there is a narrative of this. It's a pattern, pattern of and not a pattern of abuse.
I know. I get it,
but
I know what he's saying. There's a pattern of doing that with the particularly with the animated. It's more, with all of them, because even I know you mentioned Star Wars. I ain't giving them a pass because they do it, but they doctor it. They Dr. Frankenstein, not Dr. Frankenstein, but they babysit it, because the moment and what you call it to tell you, the dude who played Finn,
John Boyega.
John Boyega tell you how the stuff that he still had to go through, not let alone the fans that he had to deal with, the racist fans. That's just going to happen. You can't, you're not
nothing you can do about that side.
You can do about that. But from the other side, I mean, just like what they did with the character and stuff. The moment you seemed like it was going in one direction, maybe a romance brewing between his character and the main character, whatever. They went away from that quick.
Mm-hmm.
They went away from that quick. And then they just put him, let's put him with another quote unquote minority. Let's put him over there. They try to throw everybody with the kitchen sink at him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yeah, I peeped that. Most of us did. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, so they don't get a pass to me. They're not in that category. Marvel, yes, they were because they're smart to let.
Well, not only because they're smart, but that's what that's been a part of, again, like what we talk about. Mm-hmm. That's been a part of the source material or their source way of dispersing content from the outset.
Well, especially from like Black Panther. Now let's see what Warner Brothers do. Look at what Warner Brothers just acquired. Like you just said, they're about to make a lot of European American people mad. But oh well. Guess what? They're doing the right thing, and they're doing it in the right time, because they're gonna use the AT&T HBO Max platform. It's gonna go under the DC brand somewhere in there, probably maybe under Milestone, because they're bringing back Milestone. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably gonna go under that. And guess what? It's gonna be out there, and just reading the concept alone, I'm sure people are pissed about that in a world where only Black people have superpowers.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy for this, because hopefully this will help. This will help them. Hopefully this will help them and give them a push.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like
so I should hope it's good as a article that gentleman wrote. I should hope that he redirects that energy and starts writing articles to bring light to stuff like that. Milestone coming back. The Warner Brothers acquiring this brand. With these two brothers. Let's push that narrative. Let's write about Quelly TV. You know what I'm saying? Let's push those narratives.
People are writing about that.
And
it all needs to be written about.
Yeah, they all need to be written. Of course, they're being written about us. We wouldn't be able to find them. But I mean, I'm talking about let it be. You know what I'm saying? Let it really be written about out there. So that's that. I can't wait. I want to see where this is going to turn out because like I said, it may end up under the Milestone brand. That would make most sense. That would probably make the most sense if it ends up under Milestone, which we realize under the DC fandom that they're coming back. They're back. They're not coming back. They're back. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing everything from the comic side of things, and they're working on film stuff too. Reginald Hudlin is part of that team. As we all know, he's a filmmaker. And
hopefully, I hope they decide to do a Static Shock because I was watching.
But they definitely doing Static Shock. They're definitely doing that. But
I hope they do it right this time because I was watching that cartoon.
I think Michael B. Jordan is involved in that. Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Static Shock movie. Yeah. He's gonna be producing. He may even be in it. I don't know if he's gonna play Static Shock, but he might, or he's gonna be in it. Static Shock, started younger, so I don't know. If he's gonna be in it, or they're gonna get another actor to play him when he was younger, and he's gonna be the older version. Like I said, Michael B. Jordan needs to play my man Night Thrasher. That's who he should be.
Yeah, that's who he needs to play.
That's who he needs to play. Michael B. Jordan. I don't know if Jay is still listening. But Jay, Michael B. Jordan, if you're listening, that's my dude. I think he should play the Night Thrasher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And get his series going. Because that character.
New Warriors. Yeah, and the New Warriors was just dope.
Yep. It was Turner. Oh, Turner, how you doing, man? I didn't see you. It seems like you just got in the room. And then he said, we didn't know we was on tonight. Yep. So next week, like I said, everybody is also, we keep promoting it because I want people to make sure y'all come back for next week when we talk about, we're going to have a guest host, not host, but a guest judge or two to judge our verses, which will be the verses of the best movie years. So, we will each pick. Yeah, Jason said that'd be dope. Yeah, I would love him to play that. I mean, he probably won't, but I would love him to play Night Thrasher. But anyway, each of us will pick a movie year that we will pick 10 movies to represent that year, and we'll face off with a versus.
I need 15. I need 15.
I mean, I could do 15. That's fine. Because then ultimately it's really only 15 because we're all doing it at the same time. So, yeah, when you add all that up, that's whatever many movies. But
45.
It's 45 movies, but it's not like we're going to be counting down 45 movies. It's like this movie versus this movie versus this movie is part one. You know what I'm saying? Number one, this movie versus this movie versus this movie. And then the judges will pick based on the movies that are going against each other. We'll then keep score. And whoever has the most movies, whichever year has the most movies that wins. Pretty simple. Pretty plain and simple. And so that's going to be pretty good. Pretty good. So now, I mean, I don't know, Kev, do you got your year in mind yet?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. I got my year and I got a backup year. I'm still deciding which one that I want to do. And we're gonna have like I said, Jay, I don't know if Jay is available, I would love you to be a guest judge that day, that evening.
Yeah, he would be a good judge.
He'd be a good guest judge because Jay is very knowledgeable on films. And I'm sure he lived through those years just like we did. So I'm sure he's probably seen all the movies that we've seen during those years. So he'd be a great one. Maybe we'll try to get Gina Liu to jump up and give a, if we want to get like a panel. If we just want to have one, with Jay. Also, AJ Perez has, said he wouldn't mind coming back on the show. So I might get him too.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice to get him to judge as well. And then you go from there. So yeah, so what's good, man? But we can't announce our years because Kevin got his year yet.
Y'all can announce our years?
I can announce, we can announce ours. I mean, what the hell? But so I don't know. What year you got, Ralph? What's your year?
Man, this was tough. But I knew this from when I first thought it was 1986.
86.
1986.
That was a good year too. My year right now, tentatively, I have two in mind, but I'm going more than likely with 1994. That's gonna be my year.
It's a good year.
That was
one of my backup years. I got listed in this book.
Yeah, that was a good year. My backup year is 1999. That's my backup year. Another very good year. Slept on, people don't, not slept on, but people. That was a good year too. I'm still trying to decide which one, but those are the ones. So you said, what did you say, Ralph? You said 84, 86?
All right, my year is 86, but I got a backup year too because I wasn't sure what you had. So in case I switch my mind, just in case, my backup year is 1992.
92. So you got 86.
Well, that's the year I'm taking. I'm going to take 1992.
No, you can't be fighting, man. What's wrong with you? No,
that's not biting. That's not biting. That's not biting. You said 1986 is your year.
So
you said 1992 is a backup.
No, but see, you know what?
Backup means just that. Backup.
If I take 94 and he decided to take 99, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. All right. Because realistically speaking, I have 5 backups. 5. Because I wasn't too sure how you guys were going to play this. See, so I was just like, just in case, let me take a look at some other years. So, I'm sticking with my 1986. I mean, the other year I was going to take was 97, but no. I'm taking 86. I'm taking Ferris Bueller.
Okay. Go with 86, baby. I'm rolling with
Ferris. I'm rolling with Ferris.
I'm going with 94. If I change my mind, it'd be 99. But anyway, we bring our movies from those years. We represent those years. The best 15, if you want to do, to represent that year. And we go in, yo. We go ahead with it. And that's what we did. We'll go ahead. Well, we don't have to announce. We don't have to announce the movies. We're not going to announce the films that we're choosing. Right. We're just announcing the year so we all know what year. We don't end up with the same year on that day. You know what I'm saying? So that's
the years are going to go head to head randomly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a list and then we're going to pair the movies off. It's going to be random. So if I'm just throwing movies out there, no years in particular. So if Wes says Terminator, and I say Aliens, and Ralph you say Starship Troopers,
right?
Then that's the battle. It's all with matching up. It's all with matching up.
Yeah.
Your movie against that movie, the best movie against that movie.
We'll take turns on who goes first, so that way. It's like, okay, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's like, I go for me, Ralph, Kev, then Kev, Ralph.
And three apiece. And 5, because if it's 15, right. we could do 3 rounds apiece.
Okay.
5 rounds, 3 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph, West, Kev, then for 3 rounds, then West, Kev, Ralph. For 3 rounds, then Kev, whatever.
Yeah,
3 rounds.
Exactly. We basically
and
we all
then go
rotate
back to
going
the top
first.
of the order. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That way, because that way it's done more in the vein of
fair.
versus. It's like
Yeah.
versus, because versus is like that. The matter of fact, versus made that change on the fly. It used to be like just 1, 2, 1, 2, but then they started once they got to the middle. Once they got to 10, they switched.
They switched.
Yeah, they flipped on who was going to go first because it makes it more fair that way. So that's what.
You get one person going first. They keep dropping heat. It's nothing you can do.
I'm
person
ready.
keep dropping heat.
1986. Say Ferris. Dropping it.
Yo, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yo, 94 or 99. I'm just gotta figure out which one I'm gonna go with. Which one I'm going with, but one of the two I'm gonna end up with. But I loved both of them. Both 94.
I suggest you. I kind of sort of suggest you drop Ferris off your list because depending on who this panel of judges is, and what movies go up against Ferris,
that's okay.
Ferris might end up.
Nope. Ferris ain't going nowhere.
Ferris is a classic.
Definitely
a classic. No, not that.
It's a real classic.
That's a classic. That film.
It's a real classic.
It's a classic. You know, and
it's a real classic. It's a classic up until you say a movie that's like, oh I forgot about that one. Ferris who?
No.
Sorry,
not.
Yeah, no. Ferris is
not with no. Unless you throwing up some Marvel movie, then maybe. But it's more common. But say Ferris who? No, that you're not.
Ferris
doing.
Bueller or The Godfather.
Well, I mean,
but that's not in your year, so you can't pick that. You can't pick Godfather. That's not in your year.
Right.
How do you know that's not my year? How do you know that's not my year?
You just said you're taking 92. Godfather not coming out.
No. So I said that jokingly. I didn't say I was taking 92. I was doing that just to mess with you, just to throw your game off.
Oh Lord.
You ain't taking the Godfather.
You know what, Cal? You could pick it. I'm gonna put it to you. I'm gonna put it to you like this. Personally, it don't matter what year you take. I'm ready for you. How about just like that? I don't care.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Take the yellow out your spine. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't care what year you
straighten your back up. Shake off the scoliosis. Straighten your back up. That's what I'm talking about. Poke your chest out a little bit.
That's okay. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna tell you this.
I'm very confident with either year.
No, because I'm gonna tell you like this. When I first came up with this idea, I knew what the two of you guys were going to do. You were going to pick all the heavy hitters in the year. That's what you were going to do. But as I keep constantly saying, the year isn't strictly about the heavy hitters. You always have movies that creep up in there.
No, you see, there you go assuming. There you go assuming.
I'm talking about movies. It's not just about heavy hitters. And it's not about box office. I'm talking about good movies.
Good movies.
All right. Excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me.
Hold on. Wait a minute, Wes. Wait a minute, Wes. That was a low key jab at our character. Yo,
it was not.
That was a low key jab.
I saw the shade, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's shade. It's shade. It's some dark cloudy sky. It's some dark clouds floating in front of the sun right now. Jesus.
Let me pull my prep down, son. Let me pull my prep down.
Wait a minute. Excuse me a second.
Wes. Hey, Wes. Where all these trees come from? It sure is getting cool in this shade over here.
It's no shade. But let me just say, but chat room. Today is December 28th. Remember that Ralph said this today, that it don't matter what year any of them pick, I'm ready for them. And it ain't going to be about always the heavy hitters. It's the sneaky films that sneak up and you be like, oh, damn, I forgot that was released that year.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Ralph, You know what? I ain't even gonna say nothing. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I ain't even gonna say nothing. Hey, he act like he talking to Joe and Schmo from Pablo, from Pueblo. You know what I'm saying?
Brother.
Okay, all right, brothers. All right,
I'm gonna give it to you like this. If it's between you and brother, I'm gonna do it like this, like they said at Heat, brother. You are going down.
Down.
You know what I'm saying?
Because see, I already said one of the. I said one of my heavy hitters for '86 was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I keep one of the little lighter movies that came out, and a lot of people seem to forgot about. But I know the two of you love. You ever heard of this movie called Highlander?
Of course.
1986.
Of course, bruh. Trust me, I'm on it. I know what you're talking about. I mean, you know,
I'm ready.
I personally, I'm with me. I went when I was doing my research for it. You know, I went through the 80s and I was like, but you know, for me, and I love the 80s, but it was the 90s. See, for me, it was like this: the 90s, I was going to the movies more because I was older. In the 90s.
Like on your own dime.
I was on my own dime. I was older, so I was going to the movies more often in the 90s. The 80s, I was going to the movies a lot, but a lot of movies I saw in the 80s on television, I didn't get a chance to see a lot of them in the theaters. So that's probably why I went with the 90s, because those movies stuck out to me more. You know what I'm saying? So like they were memorable, because I'm like, yo, I remember, you know, I remember a year, and I just couldn't remember what year it was. But I remembered there was a year that like a lot of movies came out that I was like, yo, this, you know, now that I think back, I didn't think about it back then, but I think about it now. Because I remember we talked about it a few weeks ago. We talked about the two bomb movies. It was, you know, the bomb movies, I should say, Blown Away and Speed. Both of those came out in 94, I think it was. Or was it 99? Yep. 94, yeah.
99.
So,
94.
Yeah. That was 94.
94, 90? Oh, yeah, 94, yeah.
So, yeah, so like those type of movies. So like I said, Blown Away was that movie. It was that little movie that you're talking about. Speed was the powerhouse. Blown Away was the little movie that snuck under the radar, but it was still a good movie.
Yeah.
So it's like that too. So I was like, oh yeah, that movie, man. I remember that year, man. There was a lot of good movies that year. So trust me, it ain't about just power. Now it just so happens that there are a lot of powerhouses in 94, and I may be covered with a lot of them. But you know, it's all good. I know the fundamentals of boxing. You know what I'm saying? I might start off with a few jabs and then, you know, get you
work the body before you go to the head.
We'll go with it.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know shit about boxing. I'm gonna get close enough to knee you in the nuts, punch you behind the head, maybe bite you in the ear.
So you got that MMA going.
But you know, since you put that, I'll tell you why I picked 86, because I've been pretty much going to the movies my entire life. I mean, my dad and my mom used to take me to the movies, but 86 was kind of sort of the year when I really started going to the movies by myself. You know, I got into already movies by myself. You know, I started taking girls to the movies in 86.
Yeah,
you know. That was the big thing. Now you're taking dates to a movie, you know, and you know now you're getting involved in the culture of dating women and movies, and you know the 20. You try to do like the $20, $30, you know, dinner before you go see a movie that impress the girl. Like I was saying along, like when I was a kid, taking a girl to Red Lobster was a real big deal back then.
Well, I mean,
now it's nothing, but back
the same thing with me with 94. You know what I mean? Because in 86, I was only 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I went to the movies with my cousin. I always hung with older people, so I used to go to movies a lot with them. But that's why I say with 94, where I was, you know, 19 years old or almost 20 years old, whatever, you know, around that time. Then, you know, I was obviously going to movies much more the late 80s, the early 90s, and going into, that's when I was going to movies more often because I was going on my own. I was working and making my own money and going to the movies. So, but that's what it was. I mean, I got, like I said, man, oh, trust me, bro. It's going to be on.
I'm ready. It's going down.
We need to get Mills. We need to get Mills Lane in here. Let's get it on.
Get it on.
Yeah, or Michael Buffer. Oh, let's get ready to rumble. Whatever that boy in 94, we talked about this before. 94, one of my favorite films. As you know, I love time travel movies. One of my favorite time travel movies came out in 1994. Jean-Claude Van Damme had a little film called Time Cop. That was my joint. It came out. I love that was my movie, man. I love the best scene from that movie is not best scene. There was a lot of good ones, but I love the fact how they were doing the, when they remember when dude was fighting, the bad guy. He was fighting, and then he got that scar on his face, and then the scar comes on. The present day. That was dope, yo. I was like, yo, this concept is dope, yo. Time Cop. And I always thought about that was the first movie I ever saw because I used to always think, because I always loved time travel. I used to always think like, yo, what if you went back to the old West with a machine gun? You know what I'm saying?
Well, they actually had machine guns in the old West.
No,
they had the Gatling guns.
The Gatling guns, but I'm talking about going back with an automatic machine gun. Like a Uzi or something like that.
Oh, some crazy shit.
Yeah,
some crazy stuff.
Like you go back into the old West with a tech. Yo, people will be worshiping you like a god. Like, what type of sorcery is this? He come down with a Tech 9
Smith and Wesson,
a Uzi, bro.
AK.
AK-47. People will be like, what the hell? So they got the
go back in time with an AK with a banana clip. People like, yo, what the hell?
Imagine going back with the Gatling gun from Predator.
Yo, that's the Millie gun.
Yeah.
Yo, you'd easily be the sheriff of whatever town that is.
Yeah. Give me all your gold.
Yeah.
Give me all your gold.
Yeah,
or
you go back in time with you go back in time with one of those guns. You have to rebuild the town. You shred everything.
You shred everything. You have to rebuild it. The Jay said, Superdome maybe one of Van Damme's best. I guess he's talking about Time Cop. That was I know. You would have to definitely you'd shred that whole town, bro. I'd be like, look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go back in time with this, man. We're gonna find whoever where the gold mine is. We're gonna go out and terrorize everybody with our Gatling guns, our Uzis. We're gonna take over that stuff. We're gonna build generational wealth for our family.
So hell, shit. If that's what you talk about doing, then hell, let's just later for the Wild West. Let's go to Africa. Stop Britain and Europe from coming in. Go to India. Stop Britain from coming into India. Listen, we will talk generational wealth and then keep them together.
Yo, Cav, you gotta be quiet, man, because you putting some ideas out there right now into the universe. You need to stop right now, bro. You need to stop right now, and we'll get on the phone off the air and discuss that. We'll discuss
coming at me with pitchforks and say, "Oh, you think you're tough?"
Yeah,
what?
For real. They come with pitchforks here. I'll tell you, yeah, we talk about that off the air. And you put too many ideas in the atmosphere.
Like, whoa, slow down, buddy. You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that because Kevin Smith does that to Mark Bernard. Mark Bernard will go off on a tangent about something, and Kevin Smith will be like, "Hey, stop!
Yeah,
you giving away the secret sauce. What are you doing?"
Yeah, man. Never want to do that because these cats is out there waiting, bro. The cats is out there waiting. They want to be us. Oh, meanwhile they heard it in passing of our show, and then they're gonna wake up they're gonna wake up 5 months later. Ooh, I have an idea. Like,
I had
A
an
year later, they
I
picking
had
up
an
an Oscar
epiphany.
for some shit they didn't even think about.
They go to their they stop they put the show on pause. Go to their calendar at the 5 month mark and mark an X. The day of Epiphany, May 2021. The day of Epiphany, May 1st,
I just,
2021.
oh, that's when it first came to me. But yeah, it didn't come to you, bruh.
Heard
You
it.
heard us. In passing. You know what I'm saying? And making it feel like Inception,
Yeah.
like they actually thought of it. Like, yo,
I
word.
know. I know. I thought of it. I can
Giants.
tell you.
I'm telling you, I wonder. Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, that's dope though. That's what I love time travel. So yeah, I ain't gonna give away no more. But we all know the year. That's in there. There's so many films. And back then, there, man, they were releasing a lot of films, yo.
A
So
lot of
many,
films.
because
Every Friday.
yeah, it was more saturated. There was so many films coming out in those years. So 15
And listen, and
films.
that's not even adding in. And Ralph, I don't even know if you even thought about this. I had mentioned it to Wes earlier. Like you're talking about those years. I don't even think people even thinking about also the direct to video movies.
Yeah,
that
even the ones
that
that
came
I'm
out in
not
those
count. I'm
years.
not gonna. I thought about that. I'm not gonna count that because it's direct to video. That's like back in the
That don't mean nothing. It's still a movie. A movie is a
But
movie
wait,
is a
wait,
movie.
hold on.
And if
Well,
it
no,
hit,
no, because back in that time period, the 80s, and I'm sorry, not only did you have direct to video movies, which were like starting to become around, but you still had television, mainstream broadcasts that were doing their own TV movies and stuff. I'm not counting all that stuff. That's way that's too much. No, I just
no,
want to keep it to
direct to
theatrical
video
release.
is no direct to video is okay to add because that's no commercials. TV movies are commercials. That's a whole nother animal. That's a whole
Yeah,
nother
but
thing.
they weren't released in the theater. If it was something that was released in the theater, then I think that's
It shouldn't
all.
matter whether it's released in the theater. A movie is a movie is a movie, whether it's released in the theater or not.
it's still a movie because you had movies that went direct to video and stuff. I mean, it
That
doesn't
was
mean
fire.
But at that particular point in time, like in the 80s, that was still something that was something that was coming because that really didn't start until like 88ish, 89, when even I was in the video, so that really didn't start till then, where they had the idea to release it directly from you if it didn't make the cut to go into theater, we just put it onto VHS. That was still something new. It was really, if it didn't go into theaters, it didn't really matter.
depending on the year you pick.
Yeah, exactly, depending on the year you pick, and then even if you do that, then you guys start looking at every single thing that came out for the year. Now you're not looking at the actual, you're trying to look at what came on, depending on what year you pick. You could say, well, hell, this really great movie
about a
came
good
on
movie that
HBO.
it's about the movie. It's about the movie that hit and how it hit, and if it hit
Yeah,
good.
but everybody, right? Like if you said pick 97, right, and you said, well, I'm picking Titanic. Everybody knows Titanic, but if you say some obscure title that nobody ever really heard of or no one ever saw, then how could you fairly judge it against something else when you never heard of it yourself? See what I'm saying?
Oh well, listen, go see more movies. That ain't my problem.
Yeah, right. So no, I'm picking. Like I said, I got a plethora of movies to pick from '94. So there's so many of them that I could pick from. 15.
And not for nothing, if you pick a year when you sit there and you start saying, well, there now you start including things that would release directly to home video, then really maybe that's not the year you should be picking. Maybe you should be picking something else. That was because you should be able to do this with just what came out in the theater. I mean, frankly.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. A movie is a movie.
Yeah.
Theater or direct to video. It's a video or whether it was a movie. It was intended to be a movie, but they decided to turn around and direct. It was made on film, and it was made on film.
That was a lot of movies that came out that year, man. Yeah, I can't wait. That's gonna be good, bro. It's gonna be good, man. I'm just struggling with if I want to use 94 or 99. You know what I mean? But I think I'm really pretty much going to commit to 94 because 94 had films that I really loved. You know what I mean? I loved a lot of the films in '99 too, though. So I don't know. We'll feel. I'll decide by then, but either one.
I think by tomorrow or at the latest by Wednesday, I'll have my year.
Okay.
And I'll post it in the room.
Well, I might want to change. I just might want to change my year just to be on this, to level out the playing field a little more. I might want to take off.
Playing field. No, you said 86 was your joint, right?
I know, man, but I'm just trying. I'm just throw you off your game. Throw you off your game. I just might want to throw you off your game. You know.
Oh boy, here we go.
I might want to hit you with the 92. You know what I'm saying? But I thought he said 86. Yeah, because he was preparing for 86, but I really came with the 92. Now what you gonna do?
Nothing, bro. All I'm prepared for is total domination. That's all I'm prepared for. That's it. I'm prepared for nothing. Knowing your year does have no. As long as it's not the same year I picked. Other than that, that's the only.
And honestly, it really doesn't matter the year you pick because really because the way the format is set up, it's literally going to be movie for movie, and that's going to break down. But, the year that you pick
win based on how many wins we
get.
Yeah.
So. Okay, that's that. Hey, right. I like the confidence going on in the room tonight. I'm really feeling confident.
And Kev's 100% right. It don't matter what year you pick. I mean, of course it matters, but what I mean is it don't really matter what year you pick. It's just about once you can.
It's the titles that you select because you can pick a crap you can pick a crap year that has 15 films. But if those 15 films were
bombs,
15 bomb ass films.
Dope bomb.
Yeah. No, you used the right word, Wes. If that was a bomb ass year for those 15 years, and they lit the box office up, and they were sleep or didn't light the box office up, but they lit the critics' eyes up, and people were really into them. Those could still be 15, just 15 movies that are good contenders for to go against any movie on someone's list. So the year, the only thing the year is doing, the year that you pick, the only thing the year that you pick is doing is giving you more selection. It's giving you a more rounded selection to where you could possibly pick more movies that are well grounded, or I should say more well rounded, to where if you take that action movie and put it up against a drama, will it still be effective?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on how that movie was made, or if you take a movie like Traffic and then you put it up against a good horror movie like The Conjuring or something like that, it's there's dynamics that you could play with your films, and that's what the years do. The years give you more room to play with.
Right, exactly, because I got my no-brainers that I got put aside for the year. But then I don't know. Maybe one of you might come with a comedy. So I'm like, okay, let me dig into my comedies. They may not be on my
dig in the crates. Dig in the
crates real quick. Like we're about to put on that record is playing. I need that next record. Let me dig in the crate real quick.
But see, here's the thing though. Even if it's a comedy, even if it's a comedy,
it doesn't mean it has to be a comedy. That's just how.
No. But that's what I'm saying. That's the dope part about it. Like even if it's a comedy, it could be an excellent comedy. Shit, it could be Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And a motherfucker come with something like Cape Fear, and it's like, why you bring out the captain? What the captain got to do with this? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Why we got to go ride out on the boat now? I'm saying we were trying to stay in high school. Now you want to go out on boats, you perv. What's going on?
Yeah, but he said Ferris Bueller. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying you use that. My year, if I decide to go with 94, there's a lot of movies that came out in 94 that's comedies. That is comedies. You know what I'm saying? That they're not the same type of. It's not a John Hughes film, but
that's the year that's the other F year. That's the year of Forrest. Run, Forrest, run. I mean,
Forrest Gump, which to me, Forrest Gump was I don't think that was a comedy. That was more like a dramedy. It was like a drama that had some comedic parts. But the Mask,
Forrest Gump was a drama. It wasn't really a comedy. It was only because of the content of it that made it funny. People turned around and made comedic jokes.
The Mask came out. That was a straight comedy. Or Dumb and
Ace
Dumber.
Ventura came out. That's the year of Jim Carrey. That's Jim Carrey's year right there.
Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber came out.
Yeah.
The mask kicks the mask ran up on Ferris Bueller, took his car, and sent him home to get in trouble. like we need to call the police. The man in the mask stole my car.
But it's all good, man. It's gonna be fun. I love me personally. Bueller is near and dear to me. I love that film.
Say it first.
That was
humbug. Overrated.
Yeah, that was my joint, man. Yeah, bro, but I can't wait. That's all I can say. I'm looking at the crates.
I'm ready
now. Looking at the crates. Party people. Party people.
Yes, I got it all written down here. When can our love begin? That's what I'm saying. When can our love begin? Black Betty, Ramblin', old Black Betty, Ramble.
Yo, funny. Yeah, that's funny. I got man. I'm looking at some joints, boy. I'm like, boy, Wes Craven New Nightmare, boy. Boy. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, and I
might not even play. You and Ralph just go ahead and do it. Let's just get it over with. Let's do it now. I'll be one of the judges. Let's just do it now. Let it go down now. Let it go down. Get two people from the chat room.
If we do it now, then I gotta go. Then when you come on, then I gotta go pick another year. I'm more than happy to do that. I got no problem doing it, but I can pick another.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's too much. So Wonder Woman, let's get on that because we got about 20 minutes left. Wonder Woman, 1984. Starting off, that was on that was the premiered on Christmas. It did. I think I said the numbers at the top of the year, top of the show. Obviously the domestic numbers for Wonder Woman is at 16.7 million. It grossed 68.7 million internationally, with a worldwide number of 85.4 million.
Christopher Nolan is mad right now because Wonder Woman just saved the box office.
I mean, Nolan made all his money overseas. He made basically his budget back. But as we all know, domestic is where a lot of people always judge these things, right? So he didn't release his domestically. So at first or whatever. And so it was like, and I remember I saw an article somewhere once again, Nolan complaining about something. He was like, "Oh, I didn't have nothing to do with the release pattern of, how it was released." Well, you wouldn't, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you wouldn't.
Who would?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Wes, but that's the thing that's burning me up about all of these directors and these actors. They got so much to freaking say about what you can't do that. You didn't inform me that you informed you of what? You got your check early, and you got a back end check coming. But don't piss me off because you won't get nothing. God damn it! Talking about, oh, you can't release my movie. Like, I'll release your movie anytime, in any place I want to.
Broadcast your movie in a parking lot through the bat signal. I can do that.
Listen,
I want to use the
listen.
bat.
They cracked me up with this. I didn't have nothing. You wouldn't have had nothing to do with the release date if there was no COVID. So stop it.
With the release and how
Stop
it's released and how many.
And actually, those decisions are made sometimes before you even make your movie, and depending on when you wrap shooting, and and start going into post production. That's another area where you have a tentative date, and then you have a locked in date of when they actually lock it in. So you're not involved in any of that. Oh, or what? Because you're Christopher Nolan. Oh, I would like for my movie to be released on Labor Day. Well, guess what, Chris? It's not. It's coming out on the 4th of July. What you got to say about that?
Joseph Tanner, since we're on the Wonder Woman, he's Wonder Woman. All the world is waiting for you, and all the magic that you do. It's a song. Yo, I was just hearing that song too. To get geared up for Wonder Woman. I said, okay, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the series. So let me go back and binge the series because I'm really digging HBO. Oh, Ralph got cut off somehow. Let me get it back in. There you go. It's like I'm like, let me binge the series. Just say I'm really digging HBO Max right now. They really got me on my binge. I'm currently binging The Sopranos, and then I'm going to do something that I've never watched before. And everyone to everyone's surprise, I've never seen The Wire. I've never seen that show.
You what?
I have never seen
Damn
The Wire.
good show.
Like I said,
Damn good show.
Everyone's surprised. I've never seen The Wire, so that's that. I'm jumping on that.
The second season was okay, but the first.
Hold on a minute, Ralph. Ralph, I'm sorry, Ralph. I don't mean to cut you off. Your black card is most definitely in question right now.
I've never watched.
We need to see your black card right now. Pull it out. We need to see because you ain't walking around with no official papers. You are not walking around with no official papers talking about you just watched The Wire.
When did The Wire run?
Let me tell you something. The Oz or The Wire. If you've never seen either of those two, yeah, give the black card back. If you've never seen Oz or The Wire, give it back.
I did see Oz though. I didn't see all of Oz, but I did see Oz. I never watched one. And the time that I did have HBO. Oh man, I get weird sometimes. I'm just like, it didn't look interesting to me. To me, it didn't interest me, or it didn't look interesting to me. But I was wrong about that a lot of times. I was wrong about that with The Shield. Shout out to my boy Deuce. He'll vouch on that. I was like, oh, The Shield.
I thought The Shield was going to be stupid.
Yeah.
Wow, the both of y'all.
I have never been more wrong about a TV
I thought The Shield was going to be whack. I was like,
I thought The Shield was going to be stupid.
Let me tell you something. I'm glad I was wrong about The Shield. I had that same attitude about Sons of Anarchy, and I had that same attitude about Breaking Bad. All three of those shows, I was like, yeah, and I didn't get into them and watch them while they were running. I ended up going back and watching them and completely falling in love with them. So
The Wire is the only show that I didn't watch while it was running. Breaking Bad, I started watching, I think like season 2. I started watching Breaking Bad because I didn't know about it. And once I got put onto it, I was like, okay, let me start watching that. But The Wire, out of all of them, The Wire is the only one that I didn't watch until after the season was over. I actually went and watched it. About a year or two later, I went and watched
like I said, I catch flack for a lot of stuff. I catch flack for that series, not watching that series. Everybody out there, they're like, what? I'm like, nah, I've never seen it. Never seen one episode, not one episode.
Hey, Wes, I'm gonna tell you this, man. Don't feel bad. I mean, I've seen it,
but I've never seen not one episode.
But like me, I didn't. Good. I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I didn't pick up the Buffy the Vampire Slayer till season 4 when they were running the promo like she's coming back from the dead. That's when I started watching and got into it. But like even when they spun Angel off, I didn't start watching Angel from the beginning until Spike got on the show. Then for me, that's when it started rolling. So, and I've never seen the first couple of episodes, never. So I
Stringer
get
Bell.
what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying.
I heard all of these characters, and I know I know the names. And from doing Block TV, I ran into a lot of the actors that played on the web. We had Edwina Finley on the show on Block TV one time. We had her. So I know, obviously I know about The Wire, but I've never sat down and watched it. So, and then I was like, all right, cool. So now I got this HBO Max. You know what I'm saying?
You need to be shanked right now.
And I'm like, I got this Yeah, it's Oz being shanked. Yeah.
No,
So
you can still listen. You can wait. Well, no. Take that back, Ralph. Because old boy can still. Listen, old boy can still run up on you, rob you, and stab you. So you can get shanked.
No, it's true. So, like I said, my boy Deuce was he still make fun of me to this day. It was like a few days ago. I was talking to him. He was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, that show." Because when I say something like, "Oh, I never watched that show. I never got into a show." Yeah, like you didn't like it, like The Shield, right? You know what I'm saying? Yo, my man Deuce, shout out to Deuce. He's driving the tour bus and he was in town. This when I was staying in Miami. I was out there with my parents. Deuce was in town, on a tour, and they were in town for like 4 days. I went and linked up with him at his hotel, and we was bored. We like, what we gonna do? All right, let's watch. He's like, yo, I got The Shield. I'm like, I don't want to watch that show. He's like, yeah, let's watch it. Okay, fine. So he had like the first 4 or 5 seasons, or he had like first 4 seasons of The Shield. He threw it in the DVD. We watch it. I was like, yo, let's go to Blockfoot. I said, let's go to what's it called? Best Buy. Let's go to Best Buy and get the other seasons. And he was like, oh, because it was like we went to Best Buy. Best Buy had a sale going on. Each season of The Shield was only $19.99.
Yep, because I remember that time, because that's how I had that. That was The Shield was around the time when I first started cable cutting, and I had the only way, because as a matter of fact, the first thing I did was I didn't fully cable cut. The first thing I did was cut the DVR off. I cut the DVR service. So the way I would be able to watch my episodes was I would buy them on iTunes. It was the only reason why I had anything to do with Apple, because at that point in time, the only place that I could watch The Shield, the episodes that I missed, was on iTunes. So I would buy the episodes on iTunes, and then I would watch them.
I was like, yo, I remember I had saw 1 episode of The Shield up to that point. And then I watched it and I was like, yo, this show is fire. Jason said the Wire as a whole was fire, and that's not even in my wheelhouse. So he would definitely like that. Shout out to my ace. She's in the building right there. She's like, no. She was mad because I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Yeah, I'm sorry, dear. I did not see The Wire. I'm going to watch it.
The top right hand corner of your black card has just been invalidated.
It's so good, brother. I'll get back to it.
Revolt.
Yo, I was like, I don't know what it was. I don't know how.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's like saying you never watched The Wiz. That's like saying to somebody that's over 35, you ain't never seen The Wiz.
Shaft. Like you never seen The Last Dragon.
Take listen. You start getting your pole punch on your black card with stuff like that. Invalidation. What's these holes in the top of your card? Let me see your skin.
I never saw Raw. Eddie Murphy Raw.
I don't even think
you know what, Wes? You know what's gonna happen to you, Wes? People gonna look at the top of your black papers, your documents, and they're gonna do the skin bag test. They're gonna do the paper bag test on you. Like, is this nigga really black?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. Everything that you just mentioned, I don't know if I'm gonna check. I don't know if I'm gonna put The Wire up there with those things you just mentioned, but that's okay.
What wait? What you just say? Oh, where's my hole punch? I'm about to stamp off 3 more holes in the top of this Negro's card.
I don't think I would put that there. When you talk about your
didn't see Shaft.
Shaft was
didn't see the Mac. Didn't see
Listen.
Eddie Murphy Raw.
Those are movies,
Yeah.
number one. Those are not.
Didn't see Coming
but
to
yeah,
America.
but it ranks. The Wire ranks up there with that, bro.
You can say that.
All jokes aside,
We'll see about
like all jokes aside, the Wire. Listen, I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. Here's when your black card. Here's when your black card is revoked. If you ain't seen Belly, Shotters, or Paid in Full, your black card is revoked. That's what that. If you didn't see The Wire, it's listed up there with those three.
Shout out to Terrell Hicks.
Well, that's the case, and I gotta get my black. I've never seen Shotters, Paid in Full, and Belly.
You what?
Yeah,
You ain't never seen Ralph. Stop right now.
My godson loves it.
Ralph, I'm telling you right now. Log off the show right now.
Wait. No, wait. Let me change that. I have tried to watch Shotters, but for me, it's the accents in the language. It's like real heavy to me, and I just can't get into it. I have tried. My godson loves it. He watches all the time. I have sat there and tried to watch it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I have seen Shotters, but I'm not gonna put that up there. If you revoke your black card, if you ain't seen Shotters.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like Ralph just said, some people just might be turned off by not being able to really get used to.
Well, you know what? There's something wrong with you.
No, it's not.
something wrong. There's something wrong with you. Go back a yard. There's something wrong with you, boy. Boy, your blood clot. They're gonna talk about no. If you're not watching Shotters, you're not watching no movie, boy.
It's a dope movie and all of that. It's a cult classic. It's a cult classic. That's what it is. So
now, if you said I never saw.
Right.
Now, if you said to say I never saw Juice, I might really have to look at you differently.
Yeah, see, Juice was
if you said Juice, I might really have for Boys in the Hood. For Boys in the Hood, I might really have to look at you like
films that were made a lot of major noise. Shotters. A lot of people got hip to Shotters way after it even came out.
I saw
Paid in Full on the bootleg when it was in the street.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even in the theater yet.
Yep.
And that wasn't even the final cut of it. I don't think that was in the street.
Nope.
It was a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw it again. I've only seen Paid in Full twice. I saw the version of it that was in the street, and I saw the theatrical version of it, and maybe 3 times I've seen it. But yeah, so that film got its momentum.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was a really good film. It got its momentum from the streets. That's really what gave it the momentum.
In Too Deep. Same thing with In Too Deep. They got the momentum from the street.
It got momentum from the streets. It wasn't no big, it wasn't Juice. Juice was a big deal because you had, Ernest Dickinson, first directorial debut. You know what I'm saying? He went out, he had Tupac in it. You know what I mean? Like it became a kind of a big deal when they did it.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this so we can get back on the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it like this. If you don't watch The Wire, we gonna send God after you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Like I said, I know about.
You know, tell LL to get back in character.
Yeah.
And make sure you watch The Wire.
I go there and pick up your tongue. If I was you, I go in there and pick your tongue up and do it yourself.
I ain't playing pool with LL ever again. I would never play pool with LL Cool J after seeing In Too Deep.
Nah.
But so Wonder Woman 84 starts off, to me, all right, I'm gonna say right out the gate without dragging it out, definitely nowhere near the first one. In my opinion. I think the movie for once, this is almost a first for me to complain about. I think that movie could have easily been cut at least 10 minutes out of it, easily. There was a couple of things in there that really didn't need to be in there. It was kind of long. To me, it started a little slow too, even though they started. And I think she did an article about this. Very rarely done. They started the movie with 2 different like beginnings, sort of like, two opening what's called cold openings, right? So, the cold opening is the stuff that you see before the titles, right? For the people who don't know, we educate people here at Real Talk. So if you have something that's called like an opening sequence or what's called a cold opening, they call that mostly in television, but it's that first beginner, right? You see that first piece of footage you see of the film before the title comes. All right. They had two of those in this. That was the Themyscira, when flashback in the beginning, and then the mall's heist thing that she thwarted. And actually, she fought. Patty Jenkins actually fought. I just read somewhere she fought with the studio about that because the studio wanted one of those things to be cut. They were like, pick one. What are you opening this film with? Are you opening it with the mascara thing, or are you going to open it with the mall thing? Honestly, I would have, if I had to cut one, I would have went with she said I called it a turtle opening. If I had to go with one, I just would have went ahead with the mall one in 84. Because it's called 1984. Why are we going back to Themyscira?
All for you to preach to us about cheating.
So for you to get on your soapbox or your pulpit and preach us about you can't cheat, Diana.
Excuse me, not cheating, taking a shortcut. Because she did get knocked off her horse, and so she improvised. So basically, they're trying to tell you improvising is bad.
What they were trying to tell you is don't try to take the shortcut route. Do the blah blah. And I was just like,
listen, kids, sometimes you need to take a shortcut.
Put it like this: I was waiting on Keenan Ivory Wayans to pop up and say message. And that's what I was waiting on. I was waiting on Keenan to come and say message and walk away in his mailman outfit. So and then James Jimmy A said, hey, would you guys ever do a versus on movie soundtracks? Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Versus on movie soundtracks, man. Jimmy Ace, you unfortunately you didn't come around when we were doing we did the big tournament with the movie soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Big tournaments, man. It was like the Field of 62. Did we do it? Did we chop it down?
No, we did 64, chopped it down.
64.
But not for nothing, we never did finish that.
We did finish it.
We never finished it because
that.
Nope, we never finished it. We never finished it.
But anyway, we got
close. We got close, but we didn't get to the end.
Jimmy Ace, we'll definitely put a versus together of movie soundtracks because we could do a few of those. So yeah, Wonder Woman starts.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, Wonder Woman starts very slow to me. I felt you should just start it in 84. That's what the movie is in the title. Just start with 84. We don't need to see Themyscira again. It almost feels like what a lot of people complain about when they complained with Snyder showing Batman's parents get killed. Again, it looked good, but it may not have been. It wasn't necessary in Batman vs Superman. Let me rephrase that. It didn't have.
You said it right. No, you
I'm
said it right.
No. I don't step on people's vision. If it was necessary for the director, if he felt it was necessary to tell it,
and to back that point up, it was necessary. If you watch the director's cut of B versus Superman, you understood why Snyder did what he did,
right?
And the reason why we didn't get. That's why we got that. That's why we got that iteration of it, and not a full. That's why we got almost a montage of that, and not a full on blown half an hour on the story of how Thomas and Martha Wayne died.
Yeah, no, so with that, so now they go back to Themyscira. They show her as a child, and they do that so they can give a message of, you can't cut corners. Don't try to cut corners or whatever message they were trying to give, right? To me, they could have cut that whole scene out. If I was the studio, I would have made them pick. And I'd have been like, look, why it's called 1984. It's Wonder Woman 84. Why don't we just start in 84? Like what?
Or what they could have did was, or what they should have done was, because even though they did it in dialogue, what they should have done was they should have went back and instead of doing the mascara and showing that Olympic scene, they should have went with the scene that they should have showed, the footage that they should have showed. They should have created footage of the goddess that Wonder Woman got that armor from.
Yeah, they got that.
They should have did an opening sequence about her.
One little line. You basically just explained her in one line. So that was a mistake. I thought that was also a mistake with Patty Jenkins did. You're right, Kev. They should have focused more on that. They should have went back to that. Matter of fact, show Diana. That's before Diana's time.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. If you're dealing with time and you're going back in time, or relatively speaking, whatever the case may be, then if that's what just to tie the story in together, you're trying to tie it together with a message and a whole scene just because, and you did that just to show girl power. We get it. It's Wonder Woman. You ain't got to do that. Go back and show her lineage. Like it would have been perfect to go back and to show that. I would have, when she mentioned, as soon as she mentioned that, I was like, yo.
I was actually expecting when they mentioned that. I was expecting to see something like that, and it also would have set up the end credit scene. You know what I'm saying? That would have connected the end credit scene perfectly. Okay, so we move forward. So now let's talk about real quick the plot of it and the villains, right? So you always have. So you have Pedro Pascal, who plays the quote unquote
perfect acting by Pedro, by the way.
Great acting by Pedro. He for that time frame, he really took it back to that type.
Really took it back.
80s, type of
80s front and
ass
until you make it,
dude. Like borderline. I don't want to say he's a con man, but borderline. Just a fake it till you make it type dude, whatever. You almost like salesman type.
He had the gift of gab.
Yeah. So, I think that was the main. Here's your sequel, right? And you start I hate to dwell on the slow part of it, but I'm just saying, here's your sequel, right? You're picking up what? How many years later? 30 years later, it is basically. It goes from whatever, how many years later it is? Because in the 80s,
it's about 30 years, I think. About 30 years
later.
No, it would be longer because that was in World War One. That the first movie is. So it's like it's like 70 years later, 60 years later, 60, 70 years later.
Like that. Yeah. So it's a long time, right? So I mean, at this point, like I said, why slow it down and show. Thanos stuff. Come right in, man. At this point, I know that she hasn't went into hide, and you got the feeling when this came in. Has she been being Wonder Woman between all of this time? Like it felt like she kind of wasn't, but I mean, she was because she was saving people and stuff like that, and trying to keep her identity. But I got a feeling when I was watching it, like it didn't give me that feeling that. Like she should be almost. Why is she still discovering powers? Like she should pretty much be,
Well, they were trying to make it seem like they tried to make it seem like she was under the radar, and with being under the radar, she would only show up, when really necessary to show up to stop something from happening. And even then, like how she used her, a tiara. To knock out her headband to knock out the cameras, so she's been trying to stay obscure.
That was cool, again, and I'm okay with that. But I just meant just overall ability wise, I think she should have been. It gave me the idea that what if she just waited so many years and then decided to start doing this again? because it didn't really end, Wonder Woman 1 didn't really end like that. It's not like she ended and she went into hiding or anything. You know what I mean? It was like she's gonna go out and save people, and even if it is saving people in the shadows, that's fine.
Well,
Ability
remember,
wise, I would expect her to be a little bit further along.
well,
She
and
was better
other,
with the lasso, which was painfully overused.
Yes,
Painfully overused. The lasso work. I mean, come on, man.
as I said to you before, Patty Jenkins was chilling, and they was like, "Yo, we need more lasso." Oh, you want more lasso?
You want more
I'll
lasso?
give you lasso.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. You're dead on with that. Anyone who saw this film, think about this. Think about, from the last film, and the executives bugging her saying, "We got to see the lasso more," because she used the lasso a lot in the show. Let me tell you something. And then Patty Jenkins, the director, getting annoyed and saying, "Oh, you want lasso? I'm gonna give you lasso." It's like every scene. And I'm sitting there like, yo, this lasso is so overused. It was painful. It was
painful, and it was starting
Like
to get
the
to the
slow
point to where
motion
they were
effect in the
being
first
leveled,
movie.
and they were being sloppy with the effects started getting sloppy, that it was overused so much because it's anybody who's watched Star Wars, like they have perfected that, but there are times when you watch lightsaber fights and you can still see the shakiness, and it's a good thing that they made the lure of the lightsaber, that shakiness and that staticky look, that motion, because you're matching the motion of that with the light or whatever you want to call it. So that it's the same concept applies, but they're applying it to a rope. So now you're doing this with a rope, and it's CGI, and it's in motion. So
and it's in motion. So it's a lot of CGI work that you got to do to make this thing, look good.
And you didn't get ILM to do it, so
right. I mean, if you're not getting ILM, they're not. ILM is not coming to help out a DC film. I mean, they will if you pay them.
Listen. They
probably
a check is a check.
No.
A check
They'll
is a
do
check
it.
is a check.
They'll do it, but they gonna come with the they gonna come with the real rates.
Yeah, but listen, you get what you pay for. Oh, DC coming over here. Oh, DC coming over here. Yeah. This is what you need to do. You need to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, we're gonna inflate a little bit. Yeah, right. But so anyway, so lasso completely overused in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions. The whole plot with the I forgot
Make-A-Wish.
the Make-A-Wish rock, right? I truly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what the plot was gonna be, but from the first moment that I saw that they brought Steve Trevor back, made me feel like I don't think they should go that route. I was just like, yes, I love Chris Pine as that character. I'm not gonna lie. But he's a good character. He helps lighten the film up and stuff like that.
Now Wes, hold on, Wes. Now here's the thing about what you just said. Now here's the other thing that messes it up too, because I did fall asleep on the movie 3 times, but
damn.
At what point I don't
right on cue, Kev. Before you finish your thought, Jason said his wife fell asleep twice.
Damn, you said you fell asleep like 3 times.
I'm right there with y'all. I dozed off quite a bit during this film. Had to rewatch it because I was like, "What?"
I didn't even rewatch it. I rewind back a little bit, not too much, and kept going.
I thought it was a little extra with the rest. But go ahead, finish your thought.
But at no point I don't remember at any point Diana ever saying, "I wish Steve was back." Yes, I know. In her heart,
she didn't have to say it. She just said it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Though she never actually spoke it, and everyone else.
She never spoke the words. Cheetah spoke the words. Mm-hmm. He spoke the words. So what? Diana special because she's thinking it in her mind. So it came to manifest because she's thinking it in her mind, and she touched the stone.
Let's. This may sound like I'm
spoilers.
Right. This may sound like I'm really digging the knife in, but let's take it a little bit literally too. okay, so Steve didn't really come back. He did, but he didn't. He's someone else's body, right? And only she sees Steve. It's really this other guy,
Well, no, she wasn't the only one that saw Steve. Because remember, she introduced Steve.
When he looked into the mirror, he saw the guy.
Oh, he saw the other guy.
That means that was the director's vision of saying everyone else sees this guy. She's the only one that sees Steve. Right. You see what I'm saying? So basically, you now what if Steve wouldn't? What if you never would have got rid of Steve? You just hijacked this man's life. You just hijacked some stranger's life, essentially killing him because his life is over now.
Basically you kidnapped this dude to be in a relationship with you.
To be in a relationship with you, right?
Because how does that work? Yeah. How does that work? And you're calling him Steve the whole time. Is that like
Steve is now possessed his body? So it's like, yo, wait a minute. If you're just saying, let's say Steve, she's like, oh, I just want to be with Steve now, but you not with Steve. You with whoever this guy's name is, and now this guy.
Why my kids come out with black hair and brown eyes.
Yeah, and
that ain't Steve, fool.
That's not Steve. And I'm just like, yo, from that standpoint,
that's just wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. But from that standpoint, I'm looking at it like, dude, when
you go speak up for yourself,
yeah, right.
Get out the relationship.
And this guy don't even know what's going on. So, you essentially slept with a stranger because you slept with,
Now you got COVID in 1984 because you made a wish in your mind and then speak it out loud.
Yo, Jay hit him with the Daffy Duck. Consequences, as long as I have my man. Just like Daffy Duck said, consequences, as long as I'm rich.
Mine.
Yo, that's some real selfish ish right there that she came with. That's why I was like, did you really want to mess with that, go that route? Because that was the only way you feel you was going to bring him back. I would have been more preferred that she only, like Steve was almost like a ghost, like she could see him and no one else could see him, period. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like, he was just with her as like a ghost or type of deal.
No, but it made sense because it made sense
as opposed
in the sense
to
that,
possessing a dude's body.
Well, again, to me, how did the crystal pick this dude? Where was this dude at? Was he outside of the room? Like, she wasn't touching him. So how did this dude automatically become the dude that that's going to be possessed with? See, it's just like a lot of this shit just didn't work, man. It just
yeah. Oh. You have desecrated the spirit of the lamp. Jay's on a roll over here.
Wow.
Jay's on a roll.
But you know what? But wait, Wes. Yo, Jay is spot on, because what did I say to you off the phone? I said
like
they took
concepts. They took the genie of the lamp. Yeah, they took like the genie concept, right? And kind of ran with it. I wish this is, and in the whole, so I'm like, okay. So we got that moving forward. Dude decides he wants, and I don't want to tell the whole movie. I'm sure everyone here probably.
No, we gonna tell him. Listen, we're saving you. We're saving you the torture of watching this piece of crap. Okay.
Man. No, I don't think it was. That's Kev's opinion. I
got to chime in here.
Okay,
right?
It wasn't a piece of crap. I'll put it like this: it was a film that could have been made better. They tried too hard again with that opening scene with going back to mascara. It wasn't necessary. Like I said, they should have opened it. And I forget the warrior's name that they used, the goddess name that they used. That wore that armor. I honestly feel that they should have opened that scene up with that.
Yeah.
That if they would have did that, listen, I wouldn't have complained about nothing else.
Yeah.
If you would have showed her battling. If they would have did, you know what they should have did? They should have did like what they did with that scene with Stephen Wolf when Stephen Wolf first came to Earth to get the mother boxes.
in the fake Justice League, and so we're gonna call that we're not even gonna call it Justice League. We're gonna call that the Whedon cut.
The Whedon and the Whedon
I
League.
gotta ask you guys both a question now. Who to blame for this? Is this the fault of Patty Jenkins, or is this the fault of, as I will always say, the yoga pants wearing, latte drinking, ankle tattoo having executives?
This one falls on Patty Jenkins because Patty Jenkins co-wrote the film. Patty Jenkins directed the film. It was her vision, and like I said, she fought with the latte drinking executives or whatever. And
the latte drinking executives are the one that told her what to pick. Like, choose one.
They were saying choose one, and she decided she wanted to keep them both. So this one falls on Patty Jenkins, in my opinion. There's no one else to really blame about it. The acting was good in the film, so
the acting was. Listen, outside of the little bit of Gail Gadot, I can't even get a damn name right. Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
You know what? No, I'm calling. You know what? I'm calling the Gail. I'm calling the Gail in this because that wasn't Gal. That was Gail. Because that fake ass crying she was doing.
That was bad. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little mad at that. At the end, where she's got to give up Steve and decides that if she can't cut no more corners, she's got to give up Steve and get her power back and blah blah blah. That little
she's
scene,
crying like somebody took her bologna sandwich at lunch in fifth grade.
For that scene, that scene was not sad to me at all.
They tried too hard. Well, the main reason why that scene doesn't work is because there was never an emotional connection made between us, the audience, and Diana and Steve. I don't care if it was in the theater or at home in your bed. In my honest opinion, that connection wasn't made. I will find out tomorrow when I go see it because I'm going to try to go see it tomorrow in the theater. But in my opinion, that connection wasn't made. It was to me. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. I could have, again, I honestly feel that this movie was a script that they had for an animation movie that never got made. And they said, hey, we got the script laying here. I think it'd be fire if it was a love action movie, not a live action movie, a love action movie.
Oh, God.
And we can make it work. A love wish action movie. We can make it work.
There's not a scene in this movie, and Joseph wanted to know about the latte drinkers. Were they drinking pumpkin spice latte?
Joseph got jokes tonight.
Yeah, he got jokes, right? Were they drinking pumpkin spice latte? Maybe.
It's the season.
That just threw me off. But anyway, I think that there's not one scene in this movie that really stayed with me, like none of the action sequences. There was, they showed all the good action sequences. Once again, DC has a knack of showing their best action sequences in the trailer. And all of the best.
I wasn't impressed with Cheetah
in the trailer. I wasn't as impressed with Cheetah either.
Homegirl's character was dope before she turned into Cheetah as Barbara.
Did good.
Kristen Wiig did good. Listen, again, the acting was great between her and Pedro. Listen, I love what Pedro did.
Even the little
Actually,
kid.
if you took Wonder Woman out of this and made this whole movie about Pedro and just redressed the story up a little bit, it would have worked for me. But it's just like. Yeah, it's just like
he did good. I did like the way they presented him. I liked how he looked. He looked completely different. Like, my wife was watching it. I was like, that's the dude from The Mandalorian. As I know, of course, he doesn't take off his mask, but he did it more in season 2. But she was like, really? I was like, yeah, that's him. She's like, you don't even sound. I'm like, yeah, I know. It don't look nothing like him. But
Pedro did his damn thing, man. He
did his thing. I was okay with that. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna drag it on, but it really that film needed a lot of work to me, and it could have easily cut 10 minutes out that film. It was a little too long, and I never complain about films being too long. I mean, my favorite film's The Godfather, for crying out loud. So I never complain about films being too long. I'm one of the only
No.
people that didn't complain about Watchmen being as long as it was. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Yeah, because and a lot of people complained about that. Like, I was in the theater for a long time watching Watchmen. I was like, really? Because it didn't feel that long to me. It wasn't like sitting in a movie theater for 3 hours for Scarface, and you got an intermission.
Yeah.
And everybody who's watched Scarface, anybody who's watched Scarface, who saw Scarface,
he said
and anybody.
Jay said you can cut 25 minutes from the film, and it's possible the way, because there was a lot of fluff in there, man. And I'm just like, and you in 1984, they, other than what we saw from the wardrobe and this and that, nothing nostalgic stuck with me from the film either. Like you think.
Listen, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because here's another thing about that. Their look of the mall.
Yeah.
They borrowed from the 70s and they borrowed from the 60s to make the 80s. I don't know who their artistic director was, or who their artist party was, or their set designer was, but they borrowed from a lot of eras, and it wasn't just the 80s. They put, now granted, with the 80s, the government buildings, a lot of the government buildings, like the building, like for instance, where Diana was staying, the way that looked, that made sense, because a lot of stuff in the 80s was a reflection of what was constructed in the late 60s and early 70s, and some things even older than that. So that kind of makes sense, because those eras with certain structures tie into that way. But that whole mall sequence, listen, I was a child of the 80s. I can tell you for a fact, I don't remember walking into a lot of malls with those stripes and stuff, with that Austin Powers, with the Austin Powers stripes.
No.
I remember it in some places, but not in a lot of places, and I remember it more in the 70s than I do in the 80s. The way people would, and again, and for this to be on the East Coast, that was the other thing. They gave that mall vibe that they gave it. They gave you that mall vibe. That wouldn't have been the mall vibe of Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. was thoroughly black, and still is. So you would have saw more black people in that mall. And it would have looked a lot more hit. It would have looked a lot more different. We would have saw some Lee jeans. It's 1984, so we would have saw some Lee jeans. We would have saw some Pumas. We would have saw some Pro Keds. We would have saw some stuff. Again,
the Tiger shirt.
we would have saw. There were things that somebody didn't do their homework. For 1984.
Yeah, she said that they zeroed in on the clothes. I know that they did. They tried to put the focus on the clothes, the fanny pack, and the different clothes that she was dressing Steve up in.
The 80s was a total aesthetic. You cannot. It's just like the 70s. You can't go to the 90s. Yeah, well, no, the fanny pack was out in the 80s.
I don't remember having no damn fanny pack in the 80s.
Yeah, because I remember going to Great Adventures having a fanny pack. I had a black leather one.
They had the fanny packs in the 80s, because I remember back then, remember spandex was also in the 80s.
80s, yeah.
So people had the spandex, they had fanny packs.
Fanny packs,
pockets.
Exactly.
And the spandex and the fanny packs.
And the whole reason why they call it a fanny pack, because dudes actually didn't wear their fanny packs in the front above their junk. They actually wore it either sitting on your back, or you wore it, sitting on the back right above your butt, or you wore it rocked on your side, but it sat on your waist. That's why it was called the fanny pack.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but so anyway, they did. I agree with her. She said that they did try to focus on the clothes to kind of like bring you with the whatever, if it was nostalgia or whatever. I didn't feel it. It went over my head, if that's what it was.
But again, this is why. Because the 80s was a total aesthetic. The 80s was the music. It wasn't just about the clothes. It was the lifestyle. It was the attitude. The 80s was more about attitude and how you, in your lifestyle. I mean, it was everybody, even people who had money, was faking it. You were faking it to look like the people who were broke that were making stuff, like how Madonna took, fishnets and all that stuff and made it stylish. You had people who had money who were faking it, trying to look like that. You know, so not necessarily faking it, but you get what I'm saying.
Thanks, Jason again said they should have watched Stranger Things. He's right. He's right about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was pure and natural to the time period that it was set in.
Stranger Things is like I watch. That's what I was saying. I watch Stranger Things, and thanks again for that comment, Jay. I watch Stranger Things, and immediately I'm taken back to the 80s. I'm taken back to my childhood. It's not just because I'm watching children. I'm taken back to my childhood when I watch Stranger
the main thing, I can tell you the one thing that automatically
their malls are on point. It's 80s.
Exactly.
Their malls, 80s, straight up.
All the stuff that you saw in Wonder Woman 1984, you did not see in their mall in Stranger Things.
No.
And the thing and the number one thing,
their mall was Midwest mall because they were in a small town in the Midwest.
Yep. Again, and that's why again I say we were in an urban area that of DC that mall would have looked a little bit different, and also with the nostalgia thing, it's like like I said, it's not just about the clothes. It's like perfect example. When I pulled out of the dealership on Saturday from getting my brakes and my tires changed, when I pulled out of the dealership, there were 10 kids that I had to stop because they came so suddenly. I didn't even see them. It was 10 kids on brand new bikes from Christmas riding down the block on Sunrise Highway. And it made me freaking smile because that was one of the things like Stranger Things that it's the exact thing I said to myself. I was like, God damn, it took me back to Christmas of 1978 when everybody was outside on their bikes it was brick, cold, and windy out. Yeah. And we were outside riding brand new bikes with no gloves on. Yeah. That if you're going to take it back, there's a full aesthetic that goes with that. It's not just about the clothes. And people make this mistake all the time. Like they think bell bottoms and they automatically think 70s. No, bell bottoms went from the late 60s all the way into the 80s. It's like get it together. You keep trying to force feed, and this is the reason why it didn't work for you, Wes, is because you keep trying to, not you personally, but they kept trying to force. You kept trying to force the 80s on us. The 80s is not something that you could force because the 80s just was what it was. Right. It was there.
And to me, you backed yourself in a corner by calling it 1984, calling it Wonder Woman 84. You should have took that. You should have took it out the title because then you wouldn't have to feel so charged to force it down our throats when you could have just just made it Wonder Woman Part 2 or whatever.
Right, and again, you taking a woman with a West Coast.
That's fine. Yep,
and you taking a West Coast perspective.
Yeah.
And putting it on the East Coast. The East Coast perspective of 1980s is not the same as the Midwest, the West Coast, or the South. The only thing that the 80s have in common is everybody rode bikes and skateboarded.
Jerry Curl.
I was like Jerry Curls. I was like
Jerry Curl
across the country.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I haven't seen the whole movie. I've seen bits and pieces of the movie. Right. My first complaint is certainly the length. Yeah, it's too long. Too long. You guys are trying to do Wonder Woman 84 like you did Superman 2, and that no, should take 84 out, just cover Wonder Woman 2. Second, my other complaint about the movie is like, look, okay, every single Marvel character or DC character, Star Wars character, Harry Potter, has their own theme song. The Wonder Woman theme song is not in this movie. Not the theme song from the TV series.
It is the one from the movie. The
movie. No, it was. They did it. They did it a couple of times. They did it a couple of times.
I didn't hear it.
It didn't hold a presence like it should.
It wasn't dominant, but it was in the mall sequence. They did it. You heard the do. You heard it in the mall sequence.
I didn't. I had to go back.
But I agree.
I didn't hear it, but that was my second.
It was in it, Ralph. But I do agree. It should have held a bigger presence in it because that's a dope theme song that she got. It's dope.
Yeah, she does.
It's a dope theme
song. It's like singing the Star Wars
to me, that kind of set the tone between that and even with Batman versus Superman, I think that's where I think that's where that started from.
Started with that
Exactly.
one.
But
And
that's
you heard
what
it again in the Whedon cut.
right. And you're
That was
probably
like
going to hear it in this director's cut. But
definitely
that
going to hear it in the Snyder cut.
but
Yeah,
that's her theme music. That's like going to see a Star Wars movie and Vader comes in there and you don't hear the Imperial March. It doesn't make sense. That was one of my that was really the biggest gripe I had about RoboCop 2. That the theme music they established in the first RoboCop, you didn't drag it into the second one, which was like why? But yeah, I mean, I've seen, like I said, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I think the whole premise of how Steve came back was kind of weird. Like it's all
it was kind of
a
to
wish,
me. It was
a wish, kind of like
it was cheesy.
Aladdin-ish,
It was cheesy.
Jumanji-ish
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that's what Kev's pointed out. It's like a wish, like a genie wish. Like
yeah.
And
like it was Will Smith in the corner, and you said rub the lamp and poof.
yeah. And Jimmy A said, exactly. First Wonder Woman movie wasn't called Wonder Woman World War One. You know what I mean? So it's like don't tie yourself down by putting that in your title. Okay, fine.
Unless you're really going to do it. If you're
right, unless you're going to really
if you're going to put it in 84,
if you're going to put that in your title, then 84 really needs to feel like a character in the film, and it didn't in here.
Right.
It felt like a backdrop.
You trying to force it.
It's like coming to America when he comes to New York, right? And he says, "Let us dress as New Yorkers." He was dressing as New Yorkers were dressing time. You saw him in a Met jacket. You saw Arsenio in the New York Jet jacket, and not the fact that it was jacket, the fact that it was a starter, because that's what the big thing was in that year.
Yeah,
starter equipment. Those little nitpicky kind of things. We as moviegoing fans will pick it up because look at how many references we're saying about as far as clothing or what should have been a movie that defined that.
Ralph, I'm gonna correct you on that. It's just you know what, Ralph, I'm gonna correct you on that. It's not even that we pick it up. It's not even a pick it up and notice it thing. It's a thing of when you see it, it automatically it sets the tone so well that you don't even have to address it. It's like it's just you just automatically fall into place. You see the starter jacket, you see you see the Latigra, you see the BVD nylon, you see the Lee jeans. You automatically just start assimilating to what's being shown to you because you already because you've experienced it, you lived it. So you're automatically drawn into that, and that's what they keep missing it every time. Like the 80s, like you throw the name in there, and then towards the end of the movie, you throw a missile crisis in there. Okay, now you give us a missile crisis. I want missiles. I want missiles. I want missiles. What the frack?
I want missiles. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, like it was just like everybody's wishing. So then. As if that wasn't cheesy enough, she broadcasts, a public service announcement basically, and tells everybody, renounce your wish. And it's realistic, not so much. They were a little more mellowed out. They were a little more mellowed out in the 80s, but I'm just saying, I get what they were doing, but I'm just like. It felt cheesy, and I don't understand why they had so.
I explained that to you. I think I honestly believe a lot of it was on purpose to fit the time.
I think it was on purpose, but I'm just like, I don't know, man.
It was on purpose. It was on purpose.
Stranger Things. Look at Stranger Things. They pull it off, and it's not cheesy at all.
Because here's why they pull it off. They pull it off because they get the aesthetics right. They were able to set the table for you to sit down to eat what you were expected to eat. They gave you Thanksgiving dinner from Charlie Brown on Thanksgiving. The only thing is, what they didn't do was they left your black ass on the side of the table by yourself, instead of mixing it up and mixing the table up and mixing other people, because that's not how that picture really is shown. That picture is shown with one black kid on one side, what's her face and him at the end, and everybody else on the other side. with all the food in the middle. They dressed it up how they dressed the Stranger Things up how you saw it, and it's because they lived that time. They set it for that particular. They set it in that era. They didn't sit down. Well, I should I say just set it in that era. They set it in that location. They made it for that locale.
They just
They yeah they didn't do their homework to sit down and think like, okay, this what they did was they like, well, the 80s was the 80s and it's just a broad stroke thing. No, it's not, because the 80s in New York City was different than the 80s on Long Island. That like it was two totally different scenes.
Yeah,
like it wasn't
go
the
into
same
the cultures of where you're taking place. I mean, that to me is one of the many issues that I have with the film. What I liked about the film, honestly, I like the acting. I think the acting was done well.
Acting was good.
You know, it's always good to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. You know, but like I said, nothing really stuck out to me. When I saw the trailer of her, and to me, my biggest gripe was, like I said, we're talking 60, 70 years later, right? The fact that she's still just doing this whole learning how to fly thing just to me was annoying. And I'm just like, she should be flying by now anyway. You know what I mean? And I thought that was a little annoying. And then she, once again, they use the lasso. She gets up in there, she jumps up in the air, like kind of like she's really like on some Hulk jumping type deal, right? But high, probably even higher, because she was jumping way into the clouds, right? And
you hit it on the head,
right?
And the Hulk did the same thing.
but I mean, she goes up, and then she uses the lasso to like push her in the air, like almost like a propeller, and I'm just like, that was corny to me. That was corny, yo. Like, what? Yeah, come on.
Like I said to you off the air.
Where the hell is her jet? Where the hell is her jet?
Well, here's they did actually do the invisible jet, and to me, to be honest with you, the invisible jet, to me, I never thought they would do it. I thought that was cheesy as well. I thought that idea was always cheesy, the invisible jet. That's my opinion.
Hold it. Wait a minute. Hold it. But yeah. Wait. Before you say that, I'm gonna say like this: if James Bond could have had an invisible Aston Martin, she could have an invisible jet. Sorry.
Yeah, but
I'm going
to
explain to you kind of sort of Wes is thinking.
Right. At least they went they tried to find a halfway realistic, logical, technical.
No, and what they said was with light refraction, and that's really how you would do invisibility. That's really how you would do invisibility.
That's what I was going to say.
But with the invisible jet, but here's the thing: with the invisible jet, Wonder Woman can fly. Why does she need a jet?
That's what I'm saying.
See, again, this goes to playback, and this kind of sort of proves my other point about this movie that I was talking to Wes about off air again, is that they were going with the whole the whole TV show theme. They were trying. That's the other thing that's the other reason why it seemed weird, because they were trying to tie in that dynamic. Again, that wasn't the 80s. That was the 70s. So you're messing up. Like you're anyway. I'm done.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, that was my biggest problem with it. I was like, I'm not with the whole, what they were doing with the visible jet. So in the visible jet, she conjures up this power that she's never used, but that no one's ever seen her use before. And it was like because they took a jet, her and Steve, to go where they had to go to Cairo or something like that. I don't even remember how they got this jet, but they took it, and he talks about radar. Well, he didn't talk about it. He doesn't know, because from where he come from, they didn't have really invented radar yet. So
nope.
He was like, yeah. He's like, they won't see us coming. And like I said, he's funny. I'm just like, he's like, they'll never see us coming. I'll be flying. And she was like, yeah, I forgot to tell you about radar. And he's like, what? And and then she's like, but then she does this little abracadabra, alakazam type thing, and next thing you know, she kind of creates the jet, makes the jet go invisible. Oh, I've only done this once with something, she said, like a can of something or whatever. And he's like, well, did it work? Oh, well, I never found it. Like, little jokes that I thought was just little whatever. It's supposed to be little cute jokes. And then the jet's invisible. So I'm just like,
which I can buy to a degree because let's remember Wonder Woman is a god.
She's a god. I know that.
So I can buy that to a degree.
Before you master that, can you master flight first?
Yeah. So and again,
well, she's a god. Then what you need a jet for?
Well, again, but
why does God need a starship?
They need a jet because they need a jet because Steve can't fly.
Right. Steve can't fly.
But she's a god. If she got the ability, to fly, all she got to do is grab him and just whoosh. Why does God need a starship? I don't understand.
You're stupid.
Well, listen, Galactus is technically a god.
Why does Jefferson need a starship? No, stop.
No, you never saw.
No, I'm just joking.
No, but in Star Trek 5, and the end of Star Trek 5, when they think they meet God, and God says, "I'm gonna use the Enterprise as my chariot," and he was like, "Wait a minute." Kirk was like, "Wait a minute. Why does God need a
starship?
So why does a god need a plane?
Why does God need a starship?" Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So at the end of the day, it was really a lot of stuff. A demigod. Jason corrects us. She's a demigod.
Yeah.
So and then so anyhow, what was I gonna say?
The only good thing I saw that I could legitimately say is the end credit. I do think, and I posted this on my Facebook. I said COVID has robbed the movie going public of probably was going to be go down as the greatest post credit scene in history. I don't see how you're going to do another postseason
what post
credit scene.
Wait, there was a post credit scene in Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Hell yeah, they brought back Linda Carter. I mean, goddamn.
Wow. Yeah, Linda Carter.
I fell asleep on that part too.
Yeah, Linda Carter was that. So that goddess, or that warrior that had the armor. That's who Linda Carter actually appeared as, I believe, in the
they should have opened with that. Yeah. Why didn't you open with that?
Well, I mean, she didn't have the armor on. She was like
and she was a little girl. So I guess
no. What I'm saying is they could have opened up with that. Mm-hmm. They could have opened with that. I don't mean. They could have showed Linda Carter fighting. Like, come on! Oh, Jesus! Oh my God! I can't talk about this anymore. This is making me mad.
That was fan
service. That was fan service.
I mean, to me, that was makeup fan service because she really should have been in the first one somewhere. In my opinion, they should have put Linda Carter in the first movie. So if you're going to do the fan service, it should have been in the first movie. It would have been, she could have been anybody.
Right now, you're just doing it because a lot of people complained. Said, why wasn't Linda Carter in the first one? Why she didn't have a cameo in the first one?
I disagree with that.
Even in this one, it seems like they put her in the end credits scene. I don't know when they actually contacted her because I remember she was involved in a lot of the. And, the only reason why you knew she was going to be in it because she was involved in a lot of the panels and stuff at the Comic-Cons and stuff like that. You saw Linda Carter making an appearance.
Yeah, somebody needed a check, so they gave her one.
Because realistically speaking, I mean, the bulk of these comic book movies, especially if it's something that was already done once before, they've never, with the exception of the Hulk movies, I mean, Lou Ferrigno was in both of the Hulk movies. But like all these Batmans, they've never had anybody else that was in a Batman movie show up in one of the other Batman movies. It just, I mean, and I have said that I think that was a disservice that maybe you should. They don't have to be Batman or Bruce Wayne He could just be some average citizen that Batman is saving, and it turned out that it was Adam West, for example. That would have been an awesome thing to see, to give that little nod to the lineage, So
it's Batman. You don't need to do that for Batman. It would be nice,
that's
but you
what
don't
I'm
need to
saying.
do that.
But you don't have to do that for any of them. But it would be nice.
Kind of sort of you do. And see, that's why it works for certain things. Don't need it. Like Superman wouldn't need for any of the if they were still alive. It wouldn't be a need for any of the previous Supermans to show up as Superman, because Superman is what it is. It can carry itself.
Well,
Same thing with Batman. It can carry itself. Same thing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man can carry itself.
Right.
But Kev, even with that one, I mean, let's be real. Let's be realistic for a second. Even with that, the biggest episode that Smallville did was the episode where Christopher Reeve was on. That's the one everybody was talking about. And not only did they have him on there, not play Superman, but they had the original Superman music in it, just as the fan thing. That was a big deal, you know.
I guess because I actually out of all of those, the one that I talked about the most was the one where the Flash showed up. I was bending West's ear on that one.
But see that, but Kev, that's you, and that's cool. But to most other people like me, like I was not a big Smallville fan. I didn't really watch it. But that episode when they said that Christopher Reeve was coming on, I tuned in to watch that.
Yeah, of course.
And I do remember.
Yeah, of course. That's what it is. I mean, I love I loved Smallville for that because they were famous for doing that. They did it. They brought in Christopher Reeve. They brought in Margot Kidder.
Right.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, oh yeah. Me and Jason's like, yo, Smallville was my joint back in the day. West knows. Yeah, bro. That was back then. That was the only show. And shout out to Bruce Penn. Bruce Penn will tell you too. He used to always make fun of me with that. That was the only show. You could not call me during that time. Like that when that show was on, I would not accept a phone call because I'm like, yo, I'm watching Smallville. Leave me alone. I didn't even get calls from my wife, then girlfriend at the time. I didn't even take calls from her. They was a long distance call. Those are long distance calls.
That's respect.
I was like, yo,
your TV show.
Nah, man, I'm watching. Yo, I'm watching.
Listen, when that Flash episode was over, though, I immediately called West because I was sleeping on. I was like, man, fucking Smallville.
Nah, Smallville.
Boy, when I saw the episode and the Flash was on it, and then they did the race at the end, I was like, ah!
Yeah. I love Smallville for what they did. They stayed to they had their own little rules, like things that they built, and they would really. It was dope. I'm not gonna get go off track on that because we're about to end the show. But yeah, like I said, overall, Wonder Woman, I'm definitely not gonna tell anybody to not watch. I think you should watch it. I don't think you should just listen to whoever. The reason why we're doing it like this is because I'm not gonna sit down and I am gonna probably write a blog or a review on it, but I don't like to just sit down and people write a review and just look like I'm just killing the movie. I do it like this, so we're trying to take you through the movie to understand where our gripes from it was. But I always say to anybody, see the movie yourself. Don't ever not see a movie because someone said they didn't like it. Because honestly, all of the
and the sad part is I can't even tell you wait to see it on DVD. I can't even tell you wait to see it till it comes on the small screen.
All the reviews that I've been reading has been not reviews, but just fan reaction. It's been down the middle. I for every person that say they hated it, I see another person that said they loved it, and I see some people that said they liked it, and some people was like meh. I saw a lot of meh, and then some people were like, "Oh, I liked it," and then, "Oh, it was good, I enjoyed it." But then you have people, "Oh, it sucked," and then you have people like, "Oh, I loved it." So see it yourself.
Yeah, because it translates different for everybody. Again, I really think it would have hit different. And the reason why I know it would hit different if you see it in the theater. If my recommendation is, if you could see it in the theater first, see it in the theater first. Do not watch it at home.
Be safe. Be safe. Don't.
Be safe. Be safe. Wear a mask. Don't order food. eat before you go.
That's what I said. And that's why that goes back to why Warner Brothers released it the way they released it, because people who feel comfortable going to the theaters, if you feel or not feel comfortable, whatever, if you just feel like you can do it, it's worth it, you want to do it, fine. But yeah, I mean, like I said, once again,
Like me, I canceled my ticket that morning. I had a ticket for a 12 o'clock show. I canceled it because when I looked, there were just too many people in the theater for me. I just wasn't comfortable with it, so I canceled my ticket.
WA said, with that being said, Wonder Woman was disappointing. Wonder Woman 84 was disappointing. I mean, that's a good way to
wrap it up.
To kind of wrap that up. It was disappointing. I think we were all disappointed in it. But like I said, hopefully people continue to watch it and see where it goes from there, and we'll go from there. So next week, like I said, before we wrap up the show, well, I can't stress this enough. Next week, next Monday, which I believe will be the 4th of January, we will be doing our verses with the movie years, and we'll each pick 10 or 15, whatever, movies from the years that we pick, and we will go head to head. We'll have a guest host / judge, or 2 or 3, and we'll go from there. In the chat room, y'all definitely chime in on it, and we'll go there, man. It should be fun. Should be a good thing. We want to definitely wish everybody, I hope y'all had a good holiday, good Christmas, and whatever else you celebrate.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah, and that's why I just kind of blanketed it with happy holidays. And whatever you celebrate, I hope it was fun for you and you enjoyed it. We have the new year coming up. Let's try to keep striving to get to 2021 alive. And,
3 more days, 3 to go.
Yeah, that's it. 3 more days. And then, so everyone I want to shout out to everyone in the chat room who always holds us down. Jason always hold us down. Thank you very much, man.
Larry, we love you, brother, if you're listening.
Larry, you know what I'm saying?
What's up, Larry?
Shout out to Larry. You know what I mean? And
that's who needs to be a judge, Larry.
Yeah, I know, right? If anybody judging Larry. I know. Larry will be not just judging, he'll be analyzing it. You see, that's a very interesting point. Because and then Larry will break some shit out. Larry will be like, that's a very interesting point. Because, during the filming of this, so and so, Larry will bring out a point that nobody knew. The filming of that film at the time, and he's a beast. So shout out to Larry, man. And Jimmy Ace, of course, Joseph, of course, and everyone else who came through. I saw Charmaine, and then she jumped in and did her thing. Of course, support the channel. That's what she always do. I don't know where. And then I shout out to my ace. So I call her my ace. Chocolate in the building. I was like, she always comes in, drops her little joint about support the channel. She drops the Cash App, all that stuff in there. And that's cool. That's what's up. That's why you love these people who support us. And we do say that. Yeah, support the channel. You know what I mean? On the IE Network, I believe the Cash App is $ the IE Network. People want to do that. And that's it, man. Next week, everyone have a happy new year. Be safe. Be smart. And man, we love y'all. Y'all come back next year.
$2,000 check. $2,000 check. $2,000 check.
Yeah, that's never coming. It's not coming.
False advertising.
Don't hold your breath.
The house fasted today. The house fasted today, so let's get on our hopes and
please.
Get on our hopes.
The house passed it. The house is always passing stuff that don't go nowhere. It dies in the Senate.
Let it show up. Listen,
yes,
let me tell you something. If that shows up in my bank account, I will personally say I like Donald Trump. if that shows in my, I will personally say I'll like Donald Trump for this.
I ain't saying that because all Donald Trump did was take what those other Democrats in the House was doing in the first place. They was
exactly
2000 long time ago. It got shot down.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
I'm going to end that by saying, congratulations, Bill. You're now a law. All right.
Right.
I'm just a bill. Just a
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
On Capitol Hill.
That's where it's going to be. It's going to sit its ass right on Capitol Hill. Deuces, everybody.